$4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with a Men's Health Month tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at wakemed.org.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Anthony Baglione tracking a hot forecast for us today with temperatures in the low 90s this afternoon and a mix of sun and clouds. We should stay dry. Our next chance at least of a spotty shower or storm could come in tomorrow evening, and it will be another hot day for our Friday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones currently down 61 points at 38,651.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox, you just heard hosting the Adam Gold Show, which means we have Graham Hill producing the show today.
What up?
Graham, you get the raw end of the deal. You don't get to be out at Pinehurst yesterday, and then you get thrown in today when we're back here at the studio.
Well, that's why I'm saving the best day for last, and that's why I'm planning on going on Championship Sunday, and word on the street is you might be going out there too.
Undecided. No commitments yet.
Come on, it's Father's Day. Moms would want you to go. Treat yourself.
I need to see who's making the cut. I need to see who's in contention. The cool thing about Pinehurst and the cool thing about the U.S. Open is, like, anyone can make it, right? Anyone can qualify. But also, it feels like at times the USGA lets anyone in. So there's big crowds out there. I have to decide whether I want to force my way through the crowds when I could always just sit on my couch and watch every shot from the air-conditioned comfort of my own home. Because
that's fair.
Because it is Father's Day. So there's kind of, you get the lay of the land. You can kind of, shut it down or speed it up, however you want to do. Speaking of Father's Day, we do have a Father's Day giveaway that we are a part of right now. In time for Father's Day, we want to help you recognize Dear Old Dad. Text DAD, D-A-D, to 919-860-5326. Click the link and nominate a deserving father figure in your life to win a grilling pack. That's right, you can win your deserving father figure a $50 Carolina Ale House gift card, grill accessories, beer and wine, local spices and sauces, and more. It's a whole prize pack. Dear Old Dad is served up by Carolina Ale House, where all dads get a free varsity burger this Father's Day. Let's talk about the U.S. Open. I love the U.S. Open. I love that the USGA decides to go in and turn courses like Pinehurst that we all know very, very well, take courses like Pinehurst that, the general public has the ability to play and can turn them into a challenge that makes the best golfers in the world look at times like mere mortals. I saw this take on Twitter. It comes from Dan Rappaport, used to work for Golf Digest. Now I believe works with the Foreplay podcast. He said you shouldn't be eligible for the on-TV leaderboard at the U.S. Open until you're through 9 holes. Because 1 under through 3 doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean squat.
2 under through 5 doesn't mean anything because there's so many places for you to stumble into a double, a triple, or worse. Xander Schauffele, one of the best players in the world, coming off a major championship, talked about the course and Pinehurst and the test that it's going to provide.
Yeah, very much along the lines of a U.S. Open. Obviously not the traditional one with sort of really long grass, rough, and stuff like that, but true test of a U.S. Open where, par is a really good score. And, 5 sometimes isn't going to hurt you either.
5 sometimes isn't going to hurt you either. The course is brutal. And it gets more brutal the closer you get to the cup. And in some ways, you have your years of golf experience of being a great golfer, not meaning them, not me. Sometimes you have their years of being an unbelievable golfer working against them. Because when you're like 90 yards out, you're like, oh, I can make this shot. I can send it 1,000,000 miles into the air, drop it right on the cup, and we'll be good. I've been doing this shot for years. If you do that at Pinehurst, you'll end up off the green, maybe in a bunker, maybe in a wasteland.
Well, I remember when you were signed off yesterday, as you mentioned, you guys were out there at Pinehurst, and the one thing that stuck out to me was you said, can't wait to see the course eat these golfers this weekend.
Just destroy them. And the fact of the matter is, it's almost let me think of the example. It's a bit random in that if you take a bad shot, you're not always going to be put in so-called jail, right? You hit it into one of these waste areas, you might end up with a good lie, a clean swing, and it's like, whew, you escaped. You could also end up right behind a tuft of grass, maybe in a tuft of grass, maybe in the deep stuff, maybe where your backswing is impeded by the deep stuff, and then you're in a lot of trouble. So, like today, we're seeing some numbers that are low, right? We're seeing some guys that are actually playing pretty well. And when I say some, emphasis on some. I'm not talking about like 30 guys. I'm talking about like 12 that are playing all right. But some of them are flirting with danger, right? They got lucky. And over 4 days at Pinehurst, if you're depending on luck, the course will eat you alive and spit you out. Bones, right? They'll be like a well-eaten chicken wing, not the kind that somebody just ate the breading off of and put it down. Like they will get all of it off. If you think you're going to be able to be reckless, it is the golfers, and this is one of the things that you're going to hear me say a lot. It is the golfers that are comfortable being boring that are going to be their best selves today and this weekend.
Well, it's like when we were joking around the bullpen. By the way, there's just so much golf on in the studio right now. I'm watching it. Tim has it on one of his monitors. We had it on in the bullpen.
U.S. Open week.
And we were saying,
major championship.
When you look at some of these guys that are ahead of Rory and McIlroy right now on the scoreboard, you were joking and saying they better go get a picture of the scoreboard while they can.
Yes, and that's why, going back to what I was saying, you shouldn't be eligible for the leaderboard at the U.S. Open until you're through 9 holes because, you have to earn that screenshot. You know what I mean? You have to, go through 9 holes and grind a little bit before you can get the screenshot of, Patrick Cantlay in first and you in second. Or earlier today there was some Brooks Koepka in third and a couple of lesser-known golfers in 1 and 2.
He's moved up to +1 right now.
Yeah, he
or moved back up.
Of course, is getting him a little bit. But what I mean is you can escape for a little bit if you're not playing the best golf. Over 4 days, that's going to be sussed out pretty easily, right? If you put one off the fairway and get lucky, oh, look at this. I actually have an angle. That is a gift from the golf gods. And if you don't take advantage of it by immediately locking in and finding 10 fairways, it's going to be impossible for you to keep up.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a pro golf advocate like yourself and Adam Gold, who you listen to right here on the Fan before Tim Donnelly show.
We'll get you there. Don't worry.
But I feel like if there's a better time to do it, it's right now with the U.S. Open in your backyard. But from what I've been reading, it seems like the big discussion going up into round one is all about the expected firm, fast conditions, and strategy of playing the surface will dictate how you play the rest of the weekend.
And what it really is about is the green is what you're discussing, right? Firm, fast. You can put a couple good shots out there that'll end up well off the green. What it really is about mitigating disaster.
Yeah.
Right? This is not a course that you can save yourself out of a bad situation with an unbelievable shot because it's just too darn difficult. It's, a 5 won't hurt you is kind of it's the way Xander said it. A 5 won't hurt you. Everybody's going to have bogeys. So make sure those bogeys aren't triples. Make sure those triples aren't quads, right? Make sure they don't blow up in your face in a way that's going to hurt very, very badly. Make it so it hurts a little bit. Right, you can swallow some of those, right? You can wear them for the team as long as you immediately pivot to damage control. One bad swing, damage control. Don't try to be Jordan Spieth out there where you put it in the woods and you're thinking like, great, now I'm going to ricochet it off the clubhouse. It'll bounce off the clubhouse, then the cart path, and like full Happy Gilmore when the tower falls, and then I'll get the birdie. No. You put one in the woods. Now you're thinking bogey. And that's a hard thing to do for the best golfers in the world because they've been able to save themselves probably the last 10 years of their lives at least, some of them for decades. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And, oh, by the way, we do need to give a Tiger update. Tiger Woods is +4. He is done for the day. Grind would be an understatement. He is right now tied for 118th and is going to have to do something tomorrow to make the cut. 99 questions about college football. We've been counting them down for weeks. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, a cameo on today's show. Here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here, just popping in for my friends over at Law Tigers. I was actually thinking about, all the things that we've talked about this week. I know you've been talking a lot of golf here, Tim, but I was thinking about all the different things for us to, we talk about preparation, making sure, guys, when they're ready on the course are, doing all the things necessary out there to be successful. And honestly, riding a motorcycle is no different. When we get out there on the bike, I got to make sure that I'm properly prepped with the right gear, that my bike's in proper working order, but also you want to make sure that your insurance is up to date. And this is actually where Law Tigers comes in. If you go to lawtigers.com, again, head over to lawtigers.com, you can actually request a rider benefits kit. That's actually something that's free you can request from Law Tigers to make sure that you understand everything that is available to you and make sure everything that you're in proper working order when you're out there on your bike, that everything is up to par, so to say. But this is, again, if you're ever involved in a motorcycle accident, call Law Tigers first. Got 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Before you call your insurance company, the insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They understand what your bike and your gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and they do not get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I mentioned the 99 questions about the college football season. We have to get to the next, and we might have some Canes breaking news. Got to confirm it during the break. We'll see. Stick around.
It's Men's Health Month, and Wake Med wants to remind you to exercise. Be physically active for at least 3 hours per week. That's about 30 minutes of exercise per day. And exercise doesn't have to be boring. Walking the dog, playing basketball, riding your bike, or even an impromptu dance party count as physical activity. Oh, and don't forget to include stretching and strength training. Get up, get moving, and while you're at it, schedule a WakeMed primary care appointment at wakemed.org to get started on your journey to a happier and healthier version of you.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift that keeps on giving with the Butcher's Market Steak of the Month Club. Dad will enjoy a fresh, hand-cut steak every month for 6 months, like a prime New York strip steak, a Brazilian picanha, a petite sirloin roast, and a thick-cut T-bone steak, just to name a few. Plus great bonus items like burgundy wine marinated mushrooms and so much more. The Steak of the Month Club is exciting, easy, and just perfect for Dad. Sign up today at any of the Butcher's Market's 6 Triangle locations or at thebutchersmarkets.com. Now open at Lake Boone Trail.
Diamonds Direct has done it again. This month only, get ready for an offer you can't resist. Buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right, a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet will not last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
DQ presents How to Enjoy the 3 Best Cookies at the Same Time. First, grab the new Ultimate Cookie Blizzard from DQ. Then dig into Oreo, Chips Ahoy, and Nutter Butter. And last but not least, repeat! Because the new Ultimate Cookie Blizzard packs all 3 into one powerhouse of a treat. So you can enjoy the best cookie trifecta in every red spoonful. Hurry in for a taste today. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to get to our 99 questions about the college football season series, the latest question. But first, we have some breaking news. Now, we are hearing this from everywhere kind of except the Canes. But Elliot Friedman has tweeted it out. Frank Saravalli has tweeted it out. John Buchagros has tweeted it out. So these are some of the reporters for different organizations that cover the NHL as a league saying that defenseman Jalen Chatfield of the Carolina Hurricanes is signing to stay with the Carolina Hurricanes for 3 years, $3 million per year. So it is a $9 million 3-year contract for Jalen Chatfield, which means he will not be testing the market on July 1st. And my response, this is well played by everybody.
Thank you. If this is true, I absolutely love it.
I don't know who's calling the shots necessarily for the Canes. Again, they don't have a GM, but if it's Eric Tolsky, the interim GM, if it's Tom Dundon, the owner, if it's Rod Brindamore who's calling the shots, whoever it is, this is well done. This is well done for this reason. You say 3 years, $3 million for Jalen Chatfield. Based on how much he's played, how well he's played, and the chemistry he built last year with Dmitry Orlov. So I'd say the entirety of the last 2 years for him. This is not a team-friendly deal, right? This is not the Canes bullying him into anything. This is not him taking a team discount. But it is also, I wouldn't say the most he could possibly get on the open market, right? I mean, if he got into a bidding war situation or teams desperate for defensemen were in the mix, I think he would have gotten more. Not saying that was ever going to happen or possible, but I think he could have gotten more. And this is kind of what a good negotiation looks like. It happens in timely fashion. Both sides are reasonable. And you get to a conclusion well before any kind of deadline or drop-dead date that you need to avoid. This is well played on all accounts. I criticize the Canes when maybe a front office decision doesn't align with how I think it should. You got to be fair. You got to be accountable. You have to look at this one and say, this is big for the Canes. Because look at it now. Your top pair is going to be Slavin and Burns, right? That's just kind of the way it is when you have somebody like Slavin who has the type of chemistry they do with Burns. Your next pairing, if Pesce and Shea are both out of town, which many of us expect will happen just due to the fact that they're going to get a ton of money, your second pairing becomes Dmitry Orlov, your big free agency signing from last year, over $7.5 million a year, Dmitry Orlov, and now Jalen Chatfield, who he played with for most of this year. Your third pairing, if you trust Scott Morrow, the just signed an entry-level contract not long ago, did get into a couple games at the end of the year, but he was one of the best defensemen in the NCAA college hockey ranks this past year. If you trust him and everything that we've heard about him being pro-ready is true, then you slide him into probably your sixth defenseman slot. You just need to fill that fifth defenseman slot who will skate with Morrow and can help develop him. I'm thinking a veteran that will be cheaper than either Shea or Pesce. Maybe less term. Maybe you find someone that's willing to go on a 1 or a 2 year deal. I don't know. That's the last question on the defense. So with so many questions in the forwards, right, you're going to have to likely replace Jake Gensel. You're going to have to likely replace Teuvo Teravainen. You might have to replace Martin Necas, although you'd hope to do that with whatever you get back in a trade for Martin Necas. You have to set up a long-term deal for Seth Jarvis. With all of that being played, knowing that you have Jalen Chatfield for the next 3 years at $3 million is comforting, right? It is something that you understand, you don't have to worry about, and you can now turn your attention to obviously more pressing issues. 3 years, $3 million. Again, like I said, I'm not sitting here thanking Jalen Chatfield, right? This isn't somebody who wants to play their entire career in Carolina. This is actually a kind of a big payday for Chatfield. He's a guy that came out of nowhere. This is not a first-round pick. This is not a guy that was at the top of all the prospect rankings. This is a grinder that, just got $9 million guaranteed.
But to me, I feel like he certainly deserves it.
I mean, if he wanted to put, if Chatfield, because of his background, because he didn't have the big money as a draft pick or anything like that, if he wanted to go do everything he could to hit the open market, or if he wanted to fight tooth and nail for every cent, I wouldn't necessarily hold it against him, right? I kind of, in professional sports, I kind of am okay if you want to be greedy, like extra greedy, one time in your career, right? Like, go get the life-changing money. Go get the money that makes sure your kid's college education is paid for, even if they want to go out of state. Like, go get the money once. And then start looking towards like career longevity and right your next contract. It's, do I want to retire here? Quality of life in the area. So if Jalen Chatfield wanted to go press and be more difficult, that would have been fine. But it turns out he didn't have to. The team gave him a fair deal. 3 years, $3 million. Again, this is according to a whole bunch of different sources have this, but John Buccigross, Frank Saravalli, let's see here, Elliot Friedman, they all had it. And you know what else is good for Chatfield? I believe he's kind of at that 27, 28 years old threshold. That means he's going to go ahead and be 30, 31 when he hits the free agency market again, which gives him another bite at the apple if he continues to improve, if he continues to play lights out for the Canes in a very challenging system. He'll have another opportunity to go get a bunch of cash before his career is up.
He definitely has a lot to prove in his career, and he's going to certainly have a long career in the NHL. You just hope he can do a majority of it with the Carolina Hurricanes. But going back to what I was saying about how I feel like he deserves it, when you think back, and I'm not trying to bring up any bad memories, think about how many times the Carolina Hurricanes got beat to a puck by the New York Rangers or it was a breakaway. One guy that would always get back and do everything he could to stop the Rangers from scoring when he was on the ice was Jalen Chatfield.
Yep.
He's fast.
He's
really fast, and that's what you need as a defenseman.
And because of that, he obviously you want credit for, I think he had 8 goals, which is a step up for him, and he can probably even be more aggressive there. But he does so much that's not on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Dmitry Orlov, for everything that Orlov does well, does have a few moments where he gets out of position or he gets a little lock-legged, and Chatfield being behind him and covering up, even if it's just a kind of dissuading a player from making a pass because they're worried that Chatfield might be able to get there. That's something that slows down an attack that isn't on nobody's stat sheet, but Chatfield does it. So I'm very pleased with this. Like I said, we'll wait for I'll let you know when the official kind of agreement comes out. But that is good news for Canes fans. Great news for Canes fans. We're going to take a break and get to our 99 questions about the college football season. Push it back about 15 minutes because we had some breaking news. But first, I want to tell you about my friends and partners at Window Nation. I talk a lot about welcoming someone into your home, right? When someone is going to be working on your house, that's your house, right? A lot of times it's your biggest investment. It's where most of your life savings is tied up. It's where your family lives. And the things protecting what's inside your house, the things you care about most from the elements, your windows. Window Nation wants to make sure you are not overlooking that, right? Leaky windows, cracked windows, if the ceiling is breaking, if they won't stay open or they won't stay shut. If any of that, they won't stay open. If any of that is happening to you, call up Justin from Window Nation. Justin is the guy, or they have a bunch of them, but Justin did it for my family. If you come out and looks at your house and he can tell you where the weak points are, right? This is what's going to fail next, or this is how much your energy bill will improve if you replace your windows, and they can show you with science projects. Window Nation is extending its semi-annual sale, 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment this week. That's a fantastic deal. The number to call, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's windownation.com to schedule. 99 questions about college football and a big question for the Panthers coming up.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Hey, you love what you love. So save on your faves like a sausage McMuffin with egg or bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for just $2.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Is your heating and air system ready for hot weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
It's here. The Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month. Rebates up to $8,000 plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3. Only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell with Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Today, we're at Athens Drive Magnet High School, and we're here to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month, Connor O'Toole.
What does winning this award mean to you?
I think it means a lot. Past 4 years, I've put in a lot of work in athletics and in school. I'm glad to see it's paying off, but also all my friends have helped me along the way to elevate my game.
You're involved in a service organization. What kind of impact does this work have in other aspects of your life?
Yeah, so it's not just about getting those service hours in. For example, for Science National Honor Society, when we're taking those invasive plants out of the lake, that's a lake that we run every day at practice. And it's just good to see the community cleaned up, and it's helping everyone around it as well.
Having Connor on our teams has really just meant a consistent, reliable leader and somebody who kids are drawn to. So you ask him to do something, he'll get it done right the first time. And then other kids will follow his lead, really in anything.
He's always pushing us to be a better person, not just on the track, not just during cross country, but in school and everything.
It's just that family feeling. We're all working together. For friends, we practice together, we train together, so that means we're getting better together. And it's just a great thing to be a part of, having so much support.
Such a hard-working kid, and I love him to death. He motivates me every day and pushes me to my limits.
Congratulations, Connor.
For 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, head to WRALSportsFan.com, keyword award.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Guess what a burger's favorite day is?
What?
Friday.
Dad, that's not funny.
This Father's Day, celebrate your worst dad jokes with Carolina Ale House. On Sunday, June 16th, dads can get a free varsity burger at any Carolina Ale House in the Triangle. It's the most popular burger on the menu, and Dad deserves it. Butter his buns with a free varsity burger, and maybe his favorite beer, too. Dine in only, no purchase necessary at Carolina Ale House.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now that we've gotten through talking about the news that it appears Jalen Chatfield has signed a 3-year, $3 million, or agreed to, I should say, a 3-year, $3 million per year contract with the Canes, we can get back to on one of our daily segments here, which is 99 questions about the college football season. Today's question is an entertainment question. Today's question is a season ticket holder question. Today's question is, who has the most entertaining home schedule? If you're buying season tickets, who are you getting the most juice from the opponents? Or if you are a long-time season ticket holder, who in the triangle, the season ticket holders out there, are they most excited about this year? Because that's the thing you check, right? If you're a season ticket holder and you've been a season ticket holder for 4 decades, the thing you care about most is, all right, who's on the home schedule this year? Right? Are the tailgates going to be fun? Are they going to have do we have to protect our seats because a team that travels well is coming to town? You have to ask about the home schedule. If you're buying season tickets, which team in the triangle is getting the most juice from the opponents? I have them ranked here. But first, let's talk about them. Graham, which school you want to hear first?
Let's go with the school that I believe has the easiest home schedule, and that would be the NC State Wolfpack.
NC State Wolfpack. Western Carolina, Louisiana Tech, Northern Illinois, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Stanford, Duke. That's the home schedule.
To me, Tim, that just sounds like undefeated at home this year for NC State.
I was going to ask you.
Something they've been close to accomplishing in years past. And I'm not saying easy home schedule as a knock at NC State. I'm just saying that schedule shapes up for them to be pretty comfortable. And with home field advantage for NC State in their favor, I don't see why they couldn't go undefeated at home.
Who's like the premier matchup? Like
Northern Illinois, because it's a Dave Durham reunion game. No, I'm just joking.
Like if you have season tickets, but maybe you like co-own them. You got like a couple buddies. You buy a pair of tickets and you just kind of talk it out. Like if you get first draft pick, which game are you taking?
See, that's the thing that's tricky about their home schedule. It's not like they played Tennessee at home. Remember, that's neutral game
yep.
in Charlotte Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Even though they are the home team
Even though they are the home team in that game.
It's not at home.
But as far as premier, you don't have Clemson coming to town this year. You don't have North Carolina coming to town this year. You don't have a Florida State. You get to welcome Stanford into the ACC by bringing them into town. Wake Forest, that's an in-state matchup. If you want me to be honest, and I mean on paper, maybe at that part of the season it might not be the sexiest matchup, but it might be Duke, just because how often does Duke roll into Carter Finley Stadium?
Duke is one of them. I think also maybe Stanford for the novelty element.
That's what I'm saying, just for the first game.
To see the first time they play as conference rivals. I think that's a pretty, quite frankly, boring home schedule.
Again,
and if NC State is what we think they're going to be this year, which is very good, and they played the transfer portal fantastically, and they filled a bunch of holes, and they have a bunch of it. I mean, there shouldn't be many close games at home.
Right. Again, it's a boring schedule, but it sets up for a nice schedule as far as record-wise for NC State. Now, if you just want to go top 3 biggest games on the schedule, I know we're kind of segueing away from the segment a little bit.
Road game.
Tennessee
yep.
in Charlotte, just because I feel like that sets the standard for this new roster pretty much for NC State football. Clemson on the road, not because it's Clemson on the road and you beat them last year.
That's early in the season as well, right?
But that's early in the season. That's actually their first ACC game. So you go ahead and get that game out of the way, whether it's a win. That sets up perfectly for the rest of your season as far as maybe taking the ACC title.
That's a big game.
If you lose that game, you still have a lot to play for. And NC State fans hopefully will understand me when I say this. Thursday night, Georgia Tech on the road the week before North Carolina. For most NC State football teams, there's always that stump your toe game, right? Going down to Atlanta, Thursday night game. That game's already been slated as an ESPN broadcast.
When's their bye week? Is that a short week?
All eyes on you. That game will be.
I love.
They'll play Duke the week before on November 9th.
I love ACC Thursday night.
That actually will be their. Yeah, their bye week will fall in between that.
ACC Thursday night. Fantastic. I love it a bunch.
No, excuse me. Their bye week's actually October 19th or October 26th in between Cal and Stanford.
No,
that's right. They got to go two. They got to go two.
They travel all the way. They need the extra week. All right, so that's they're the bottom. They are third in home schedule entertainment value. But also, like you said, they should probably win a bunch of them. What team you want to talk about next?
Let's go with the team that has some kind of premier matchups just for in-state authenticity, North Carolina.
North Carolina, Charlotte, NC Central, James Madison, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Wake, NC State. Yeah, I'd say they're second, right? And that's almost by default. Charlotte is going to bring a little bit of that in-state stuff. North Carolina Central, a little bit of that in-state stuff. You're still not, expecting those games to be close if you're a North Carolina fan, or hoping they're not close if you're a North Carolina fan. But because they are in-state, they do bring a little bit of rivalry there. James Madison, I've talked about that. If you fall asleep on them, they'll punch you in your mouth. But they don't bring exactly the Q score, right? The fame score that some other teams bring. Pitt, Georgia Tech. I mean, enter in generic ACC game, and you get like UNC Pitt and UNC Georgia Tech. They're just right middle of the road.
Well, it's great to see North Carolina Central and HBCU play North Carolina. It's been successful.
Yep.
They just won the championship a couple of years ago, and then you have UNC Charlotte. As we mentioned, that was part of that bill that got denied, where UNC Charlotte or North Carolina was going to be required to play some of those in-state schools. James Madison, as you mentioned. What I do find interesting, and again, I know I originally said let's focus on the home games, but Duke to start off ACC play on the road in Durham early on in the season, first ACC game.
Duke, hold on. Duke to start off on the road in Durham. What are we going at here?
Just look at their overall schedule as well too. First ACC game.
Duke can't be on the road in Durham. What is happening here?
September 28th versus Duke. They played them last year in Chapel Hill.
You're talking about UNC on the road at Duke.
Yes, what did I say?
You were saying Duke on the road in Durham.
Oh.
And my brain was in a
Duke
pretzel.
is not going to the Durham Sports Stadium.
I was very
or Durham County Stadium.
UNC starting their ACC play in Durham is where that was. I mean, yeah, anytime you get those two teams together, but we're actually going to, we have to talk about that game in a second here. I like Wake Forest and NC State, two more in-state ACC opponents. I like them being at home. It just seems like North Carolina, their home games are all like driving distance for their opponents.
They're playing for the state title pretty much.
Like Charlotte, North Carolina Central, James Madison's not super duper far. Wake Forest, NC State, like all that's you're like I don't know. It just feels like a weird home schedule.
They have a chance to get revenge on Georgia Tech or lose to Georgia Tech again, but we'll see what's going on at that point in the season.
And then first, the best home schedule when it comes to entertainment value of the Triangle teams actually goes to Duke. Elon shouldn't be too crazy. Connecticut shouldn't be too crazy. Then from that point forward, it's go time.
Yeah.
UNC, Florida State, SMU, Virginia Tech. That's
a gauntlet.
It's the most entertaining stretch of home games of any team in the Triangle, right? The most entertaining game might be something like NC State at UNC, but the most entertaining stretch is Duke with UNC, Florida State, SMU, who's better than you think, and Virginia Tech all come into the area. And it's really just UNC, Florida State, and SMU, if we're being real. But Duke has the most entertaining home schedule. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open. Here's some of the current leaderboard from Pinehurst, presented by McConnell Golf. Leading the way, Patrick Cantlay. He is in the clubhouse, was part of the morning wave. He is 5 under par. Cantlay, very, very good at playing boring golf. Ludwig Oberg, actually, I think is how you pronounce it, who I did give as a shout-out for one of the guys I think you should bet on yesterday, is in second, one of the prettiest swings on tour. He's going to be a face of the PGA Tour. He's 4 under in second by himself, and then Mathieu Pavon, the Frenchman, is in third, 3 under. Those are the top 3. They are alone, no ties. But in that tied for fourth, right behind them at 2 under par, that's where it gets interesting. Tony Finau, Rory McIlroy, tied for sixth at 1 under, a whole host of players. Bryson DeChambeau, who's still on the course, Sergio Garcia, Corey Connors, who are both already in, and more. There's still a ton of golf to be played out there at Pinehurst. For those of you looking for a Tiger update, Tiger played in the morning wave. Struggled a bit, 4 over par. He is tied for 122nd as it sits right now. He's going to have to do something tomorrow to make the cut. British Open not British Open updates. U.S. Open. I want to be clear on that. I did not. It's in the copy. I take pride in the U.S. Open. Even the British Open doesn't like to be called the British Open. U.S. Open updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast. USA, USA, USA. I feel like I had to do that just to make up for the confusion there.
USA.
There we go.
I couldn't turn my mic on.
You were in there just chanting.
I was just chanting USA in my glass box for the longest time.
That's funny. Let's talk Panthers real quickly here. Should the Panthers extend Diontae Johnson?
Yes.
And like now?
Now.
Really? Before he plays it down for him?
I'm joking a little bit. But if you ask a lot of the fan base, some of them would say yes if the Panthers can afford to pay him.
This is – well, here's the thing. It would be a question of what can you afford. Should the Panthers get ahead of the money and pay Diontae Johnson? Because right now, if you believe everyone at mandatory minicamps, if you believe Dave Canales, if you believe the consensus, Diontae Johnson is everything they dreamed he would be. He's making the plays in mandatory minicamp. He's been great around the facility. He's working with Bryce Young. If you believe what they're selling us, Diontae Johnson has been great. Does that mean it's a guarantee he's going to have a massive season? No. Does that mean it's a guarantee he's going to find the end zone more often than he's done early in his career when he's kind of been a lot of catch, little touchdown guy? No, there's no guarantee. But there's a reason why you'd take that risk. And the reason why would be wide receiver money is going through the roof. We're talking Justin Jefferson breaking the bank. We're talking Amon-Ra St. Brown breaking the bank. We're talking A.J. Brown breaking the bank. We're talking all of these guys breaking the bank with different metrics, most guaranteed, most per year, most this, most that. Tyreek Hill wants a new deal. He'll likely break the bank. CeeDee Lamb wants a new deal. He'll likely break the bank. Jamar Chase wants a new deal. He'll likely break the bank. And with each one of those breaking the bank deals, just the market for wide receivers inches upwards. If Diontae Johnson has a great season this year, he might be asking for $30 million a year. Brandon Ayuk reportedly is asking for $30 million a year. He had 70-something catches for 1,300 yards.
Feels like the wide receiver market's starting to turn to the running back market.
Reverse. It seems like it's happening like to the quarterback market where whoever signs most recently gets the most money. Some are saying, and I'm sure this is what you're referring to, some are saying it should go like the running back market where that bubble's going to burst and nobody's going to keep paying them. But at the moment, it just keeps going up. I think it's very, very possible that Diontae Johnson has a Brandon Ayuk-like year. Now, is it likely? No, but it's possible. And if the Panthers think anything like that is going to happen, they might be on the hook for $30 million per year to a guy that it probably isn't worth $30 million per year, even at his best. So maybe you try to sign him to a deal at like $22 million per year now, before he has that year. And have him locked in, have team control. So in the future, it's essentially like if you sign him to a deal now, you're betting on your team. If you don't sign him to a deal now, you're kind of betting against him. Let me explain that. If they don't sign him to a deal now, which conventional logic would say don't, right? Wait to see him in your offense. Wait to see him with Bryce Young before you pay him.
Right.
But then, like, if he has 1,500 yards, if he has 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, if he has 100 catches, suddenly you're like, those stats are really going to dig into our pocket, aren't they?
You're scrambling a little bit to cough up the change. It's like when rents do.
Selling things. I don't really need this selling.
Carolina Panthers on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. They're on Craigslist for the older crowd. This is the risk. The risk is you sign him to a big deal and it goes poorly, right? And you'll hate yourself because you'll be paying him more than you should, and he'll have kind of that Kenny Golladay with the New York Giants deal, which was $50 million. He ended up having like 50 catches as a Giant, and you'll be so mad. But if he does play well, you'll have a wide receiver at the top of the market for a bargain basement price. It used to, like when I say the conventional wisdom used to be, you're going to play him, right? The conventional logic is you're going to play him, you're going to see, you're going to deal with it next year. But the conventional logic is born out of a time when you were probably going to have to pay him $10 million a year, and if you had a great season, you might pay him $16 million a year.
Yeah.
Now it's if he has a bad season, you want to keep him around, he might cost $16 million a year. If he has a great season, you want to keep him around, he might cost $33 million per year or $30 million per year. That's a much bigger difference. Right? $12, $14 million per year different. That's why you have to make this decision. That's why you have to consider it.
Before the season even starts, Dan Morgan and David Tepper essentially have to ask themselves, is the risk worth the reward? Before he even touches the field in a Carolina Panthers uniform.
Here's the question they have to ask themselves. That's part of it. But what they have to do is look at each other and say, listen, you're the one calling the plays, meaning Dave Canales. I'm the one putting the roster together, meaning Dan Morgan. Do we legitimately think, like truth serum style, let's be real honest, let's shut the door, turn off our phones, check the room for bugs and microphones. Like let's have a real conversation that never leaves this room. Do we think Diontae Johnson is going to have a massive season? Because if he does, we have to sign him now before he does that. If we genuinely think it's like, he might have a big year, he might not, let's let it ride. Let's see. Let's let him make the decision for us. But if in their heart of hearts they're looking at it going, I don't see a way, barring injury, that Diontae doesn't have 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, you got to look around and go, well, if that's the case, a 1,200-yard, 8-touchdown wide receiver next offseason is much more expensive to us than he would be right now. Let's call up his agent, see if we can't make something happen.
The past is the past for a reason, but I wonder if you're in the shoes of Dan Morgan or David Tepper, you have to take a look back and see what went wrong with Diontae Johnson in Pittsburgh for a second. You have to evaluate that situation.
But you also have to look back and figure out what went wrong with Brian Burns in Carolina.
Fair enough.
Which is he kept pushing it and kept, we'll figure it out next. We'll franchise tag. We'll pick up the 5th-year option. It's like eventually you have to pick the guys you want to sign to a long-term deal, you want to build around and lock it in because the price is only going up for certain positions. If this were a running back, I would say wait. If this were an edge rusher like Brian Burns, I'd say sign him. If this were a wide receiver, I'm going I'm close. You have to seriously decide if you're going to feature him. Because if you are, pay the man. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quickly here, Kyrie Irving showed up last night. I want to give Kyrie Irving his individual flowers for showing up for the Mavericks. Yesterday on the show, even though we were at Pinehurst for the show for the practice rounds, I still made time to call out Kyrie. It was a must-show-up game for legacy purposes for Kyrie Irving because he had not played well in Game 1 and Game 2 as the Mavericks went down. Kyrie showed up. It wasn't enough. I'd go this far. Derek Lively showed up for the Mavericks in a big way. Scoring more, double-double, played great.
Derek Lively finally looked like he was comfortable playing, not just professional basketball again, but playing to the caliber of an NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm. Yep, little nervous in Game 1 and Game 2 maybe. But that wasn't enough. And do you know what those two Duke guys, Kyrie and Derek Lively, playing really well did? It put a bigger focus, bigger spotlight on Luka Doncic not being enough. And Luka took heat from a lot of people. Maybe the most brutal of flaming comes from Brian Windhorst of ESPN.
That Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win.
All right, Brian Windhorst, tell me how you really feel. Stop sugarcoating it.
I feel like there needs to be some sort of hip-hop instrumental behind that.
It's like the latest Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef becomes Brian Windhorst against Luka Doncic.
Yeah, just put the instrumental for Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar behind that and use it as a music bed.
First of all,
what's up with Brian Windhorst cutting like WWE promos recently?
Seriously, I mean that is as aggressive as I've heard somebody go at like an MVP candidate. Maybe since like Skip Bayless on LeBron or something like that. But Brian Windhorst is not Skip Bayless for reasons better for Brian Windhorst.
But you know what's crazy, Tim? I don't know about you. I kind of agree with him.
Maybe
to an extent,
but I also want to emphasize this: like Luka Doncic is out there playing Wounded Warrior. He is out there hurt. He is he walks into an arena. I'm like, there's no way that guy's going to play basketball. Then he goes out there and puts up 27, 6, and 5. And through games 1 and game 2, he was the Spartan Warrior of the Mavericks, the only one really playing any kind of quality basketball. Now, yes, he whines to the refs a lot. He needs to fix that. Yes, he's a bit of a turnstile on defense. He needs to fix that. But that also might be part of the injury. I'm not defending Luka. You can't foul out in that situation. You're way too valuable. But I am saying, like, you could have said a lot of those same things about guys like Kyrie through games 1 and game 2, but nobody brought those claws out. Right? Luka, he's the best player on the Mavericks. And maybe this is why Kyrie is a better kind of Pippen rather than a Jordan. Because can you imagine the reaction from both Kyrie and otherwise if that was about him? If after game 2, game 1, Brian Windhorst jumped on there and said, that is unacceptable that Kyrie Irving isn't shooting a higher percentage and all those wide open threes. It is unacceptable. And over there is the Celtics locker room. That's where winners live. And Kyrie won't be there again for blah, 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 blah. But for some reason, everyone's empowered to do it to Luka. I know Kyrie does have a championship, but put Luka on LeBron's team, he might have one too. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Just seems like that needed to be added in there. By the way, text keyword Pete, P-E-T-E, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Pete Davidson, the comedian, at Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts on June 30th. That's keyword Pete, P-E-T-E, to 919-860-5326. Football 4 is coming up next. We put a laser focus on Bryce Young's leadership style because that's what everybody else is talking about. Is he loud? Is he quiet? Is he shy? Is he bold? Coming up next.
Dennis Cox here with my friends at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Check them out online, deepriversportingclays.com. If you're still looking for something to do with Dad for Father's Day, go down to Deep River. It doesn't have to necessarily be this weekend. It could be at any point in time, but plan that time with Dad to go down to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. It's just minutes away from anywhere in the Triangle. Also, when you pop in there and you do your round of clays, let them know you heard about it on 99.9 The Fan. Get yourself a free T-shirt, deepriversportingclays.com.
99.9 The Fan and Arise Urology Clinic present Men's Health Month. Everyone experiences erectile dysfunction occasionally, but if the problem persists, talk with your primary care provider. Conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and prostate disease can cause ED. Diagnosing and treating the underlying cause early can stop the ED from getting worse. Men's Health Month is powered by Arise. Call Arise Urology Clinic for Men at 919-964-3750 or visit CoreWaveTherapy.com.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's bow time. So don't wait, grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Do you have a wedding anniversary coming up? Let Bailey's Fine Jewelry make your gift-giving easy. Make this a year to remember with something sentimental and sparkly. Or consider upgrading your original engagement ring to celebrate how much your love has grown. Make this anniversary one to remember with a Bailey box. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Family owned and operated since 1948. Shop local in Raleigh, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Visit in-store or at BaileyBox.com to learn more.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health friendly workplace.
Whether we're a CEO, manager,
coworker,
or someone with a mental health condition ourselves.
So what can I do to help?
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Anthony Baglione. It is certainly going to be a hot forecast as we head through the next couple of days. Humidity levels have gone up compared to where we were yesterday, but they are not going to be off the charts. We'll see high temperatures in the low to mid-90s and feeling right about the low to mid-90s with mostly sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones remains down 65 points at 38,646.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Time for football at 4, and we get to talk about one of my favorite NFL categories, quarterback leadership. Why is it one of my favorite? Because it is discussed as one of the few things that everybody thinks they're an expert at. And by the way, I'm no different. It's actually, do you know what it's similar to? Talking about leadership in sports is similar to talking about golf in sports.
Okay.
Because, like, we know as, like, a general population, we can't, for the most part, windmill dunk, right? So we look at it and we go, all right, yeah, I'm going to have to kind of take, LeBron's word for what it's like to be that kind of an athlete. Like, I can't shoot like Steph, so I'm just going to kind of, take his word that it was a good shot. But golf, because we've all been out there and out of an entire 18 hole round, we've made 2 shots that feel like professional golf shots. We can look and think like, oh, this is what they should do. This is how you play that hole. Right? We're watching the U.S. Open right now. Like, oh, then he did it to the fat part of the green like I did 2 weeks ago when I hit the best shot of my life. And leadership is similar, right? Like, if you've ever been part of a team building activity, like in middle school, if you had to go to a ropes course and work together to get across the ropes course, you're like, yeah, I can talk about leadership with some kind of I've done it before. I can talk about golf with some kind of I've done it before. So you look at Bryce and you're like, Bryce Young, going into his second year, needs to be a more vocal leader than he was his first year. What makes you say that? Bryce Young this year needs to take the offense in complete control, and he needs to really get in people's faces. And I'm going, what makes you say that? The only thing that anyone should expect from Bryce Young is, and this is where I believe I'm an expert, is just be himself. Are you a loud person? Be loud. I'm not saying annoyingly so, but if you're a quiet person, be quiet. And I'm not saying melt into the wall. I'm saying you have to lead in your own way. Don't be an impressionist out there. I'm going to try to be Tom Brady and get fiery on the bench, or I'm going to try to be I don't know, somebody with a completely different, try to be Cam Newton.
Don't write a speech and rehearse it every night in the mirror before you go out there for minicamp.
Like, oh, Carolina fans used to love Cam. The team loved Cam. I have to come up with a signature end zone dance. Should I dab or should I do the Superman?
Gritty.
Should I gritty? No. If you're not a dancer, don't dance. I thought it was extremely funny, right? During mandatory minicamps, Panthers players have to go to their media availabilities. Jadeveon Clowney made his first appearance with the Panthers, and he was asked his impressions of Bryce Young so far. This is part of his answer.
Quiet guy. I know he's just trying to fill it out. When you're a rookie, you don't want to step, but everybody's expecting bigger things from you because you're the quarterback. That's the only thing he don't know right now. Like, we kind of trying to pull him up there because he's the quarterback, The quarterback to me is like one of the biggest pieces in the National Football League. You know that. Everybody buy into their quarterback, the play of his quarterback. They carry the team. So we need Bryce to energy. Like I tell everybody, it's all about his energy. If you believe it or not, we want to see you believe it or feel it. And get the guys to buy in and get on board with that. You can lead us if you just,
Quiet guy. He talks about, like, I need more energy from him. Well, Diontae Johnson is another newcomer to the Panthers, and he was asked about Bryce Young, and this is what he had to say in part.
Do you see him sign? Yeah, I think he'll be okay. He's making plays. He just ain't no talker. I played with Deshaun Watson, who wasn't no talker either. So, but he can play.
Hold on. That's Jadeveon Clowney.
Stop the track.
That's Jadeveon Clowney going on and on more about what he was saying about being quiet. Do we have the Diontae Johnson clip, or should I just tell him what he said?
Nope, we have it right here.
Here's Diontae Johnson.
Around somebody and just get to know them, it's different, and they really bring out that other side that you normally don't see. And I feel like once we step in between them lines, Bryce you see the leadership that everybody. I feel like everybody don't really see that, but he's a great leader in my opinion. Even though he's young, everybody whenever he's talking, everybody got all eyes on him, showing them the respect that he's earned. So. And I feel like it's been going great. So, but other than that, he's a great leader, vocal. So he talks a lot, to be honest. So he talks a lot, but he's a great leader. Like I said, all I can do is just keep being there, helping them and stuff like that. Just continue to grow as a player.
So you have Jadeveon Clowney saying he's quiet, he needs more energy. Diontae Johnson, he laughs. He talks a lot. He talks a lot. Bryce Young, don't try to be anything other than what you are, okay? If you are a talker, be a talker. I use these examples all the time, but think of the 2 greatest basketball players of all time, Michael Jordan, LeBron. Michael Jordan, we saw Last Dance, right? Part of his leadership thing was like he didn't respect Steve Kerr until Steve Kerr punched him in the chest.
Right.
LeBron has won 4 titles, seemingly wanting everybody to be his best friend and wanting everybody to go out to dinner the nights before games, wanting everybody to get their families together. You don't have to be Peyton Manning. You don't have to be Tom Brady. You don't have to be Cam Newton either. You can be Bryce Young. So like, and by the way, it works differently for everybody. Sometimes even, you know, I'm sure Tom Brady didn't lead Rob Gronkowski and Randy Moss the same, right? Like, I'm not saying Jadeveon Clowney and Diontae Johnson are wrong. Maybe Bryce thinks Jadeveon Clowney doesn't need somebody in his face all the time, and Diontae Johnson needs more communication. Maybe it's because it's offense and defense. Maybe it's because Bryce is an effective leader, and he recognizes that not everybody reacts the same. Think back to like the youth sports that you played, right? Some kids, when the Pop Warner coach yells at them, they go into a shell. Oh, coach doesn't like me. Some, when the Pop Warner coach yells at them, I'm gonna show coach. I'm gonna work out twice as hard. I'm gonna show up even better. You got to figure that out. That's part of being a leader. Oh, Bryson needs to be more vocal. Year number 2 is his year. I'm going, I don't want him to be vocal if he's not vocal. If you're a lead by example guy, be a lead by example guy. Speaking of, here's Bryce Young on how he would describe his leadership style this year.
You know, for me, I want to do whatever is best for the team. You know, I'm going to be true and authentic to who I am, and I'm not going to be someone that I'm not. But also, I feel like it's my responsibility to. It's not, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to. This is this speech I practice in the mirror, so it has to be said. You know, I think it's my responsibility to fill in the gaps to make sure if we're in a spot where we need to, you know, the energy's low. You know, my responsibility to make sure we bring it up. If it's where we're too high, it's my responsibility to make sure we're focused and locked in. So for me, it's making sure that you know, I'm learning my teammates, knowing the guys, knowing the team, and then being able to give whatever is necessary.
I like what that answer is, because he didn't say how he's going to do it. He said what he has to do. Right? It's if the energy's low, I got to bring it up. He didn't say like I have to yell at people or I got to get in their face or I have to make a big play. Just whatever it is that you do to ignite the team, you do it. When energy's too high, I got to reel them in a little bit. That might be a, hey, everybody up on me, I got something to say. That might be a finger wagging at one of your best players. Whatever it is, leadership is a unique thing. It is a very unique thing. And if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, which means you won't mind me saying it once more. A locker room is the best place in the world at snuffing out inauthentic. If you try to be something that you are not, the locker room will figure it out in 2 seconds. Right? I always joke that the locker room is the number one place for what's your 3 favorite songs then? What I mean by that is if somebody asks you like who's your favorite rapper and you don't listen to rap music but you don't want to tell them that, so you lie and you go, I love Nas. Locker room will be quick to hit you with, what's your 3 favorite songs then? And you have to go, I don't know. They snuff out inauthentic in 2 seconds. So if Bryce goes out there yelling and screaming because he thinks that's what he's supposed to do as a leader, they will snuff that out in 2 seconds.
I almost remember when you talked about how last season after that Chicago Bear loss on Thursday Night Football game, that's when he finally kind of not lost his cool, but went in there and started yelling at the team, and it seemed, you know, nothing really changed after that, and maybe that's part of the reasons because that roster last season with some of those previous players knew that Bryce Young coming in there and firing off and trying to set a fire underneath everybody just wasn't his thing. That's not who he is.
It might be his thing. It might not. Whatever he does, I want him to do it because it's what he does.
It's authentic.
If he snaps, like some of the most calm people that I know, and I'm sure many of you have people that fall into this category. Some of the most calm people that I know are the most, they have the breaking point, the snapping point, right? Where it's like, chill, chill, chill. You say a magic word, or it gets to a level, or you upset them in a certain way, and all of a sudden it's bing, bang, boom, fireworks. If that's Bryce, that can be Bryce, right? I can take 7 losses in a row. I can't take 8. 8 losses, I'm coming in yelling. As long as it's him and it's authentic, I'm fine with it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. It is June 13th today. As you move into the summer months, some people will tell you summer's when you buy a house. Some will say, no, you never buy a house in summer. Some say it's too hot to move boxes. Listen, a lot of times when you're buying a house and you're looking for a mortgage, you don't get to choose the timing. Right? Yeah, sure. We'd all love to buy a house so we get to close and move in on a nice, crisp fall or spring day where you won't be hot, you won't be sweaty, but you also won't be cold. We'd love to. You'd also love to buy a house and look for a mortgage when rates are at their lowest. You wish you could time it out, but guess what? Your new job, you need a place to stay, or you need to move closer to family, or you need a bigger house or a smaller house, or whatever it is. You got married and you want to start your family together. Whatever it is, you need the mortgage rate when you need the mortgage rate. And if they're too high, which they are right now, if you think they're going to come down, which a lot of people think they are in the next year or two, go ahead and get your mortgage through Miller Lending, and you won't have to pay costs and fees. No closing costs, no third-party fees. So if those rates drop, right, the timing gets better in a year, you just refinance with no closing costs and fees again. You don't come out of your pocket with cash. You just refinance, get a lower rate, take advantage of the lowering rates, and you don't feel bad about having bad timing when you got your original mortgage. It's all easily explainable on MillerLending.com. That's MillerLending.com. Or you can call them up, and they can explain it to you one-on-one. Then the number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, cons and cons. That's confidence and concerns. We're talking U.S. Open. Stick around.
If you love baseball as much as we do, play ball! Then you'll want to tune into 99.9 The Fan on Sunday nights this summer.
This one way back to left. Forget about it. It's gone.
Atlanta to Philly, St. Louis to L.A. Major League Baseball's best matchups will come to life.
Ground ball diving stop at third by Turner from his knees. He throws on to first and gets him.
Sunday Night Baseball on 99.9 The Fan is presented by Norse Brewing Company and by Baker Roofing.
Hot summer days mean time on the water. Let Sound Station and Security make your time even better with our custom boat options. At Sound Station and Security, our Raleigh marine experts can help you for everything with your boat, from the perfect audio system to lights to video. We do it all custom, and we do it all from scratch. You're unique. Your boat should be too. Make sure everyone knows where the best party is this summer on the lake with Sound Station and Security. With 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's back.
Words you never want to hear when it comes to plumbing. Better call NCK's Plumbing and Backflow. We're Wake County's first choice for plumbing services. We can save the day all kinds of ways. We offer water heaters, drain cleaning, backflow testing, and more. And use state-of-the-art technology to diagnose and repair existing problems. You'll want us back because we recommend the most cost-effective and energy-efficient solutions. CKSplumbing.com. Wake County's first choice for residential and commercial plumbing services.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month, rebates up to $8,000, plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats, June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3, only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
Hey y'all, happy summer from Oak City Customs. We have a lot of cool things happening, including new offerings on custom sun sails, pergolas, outdoor tables and furnishings, raised garden beds, and so much more. All fully customizable and available in any size. We also are now hosting official shop tours for you to experience this unique fabrication process in person. Come visit us or check us out further at oakcitycustoms.com. We look forward to meeting you.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. N76, visit staples.com/print for details.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nope. I had it ready to go today, and it's not even time.
That was Storm Tracker, and we are 15 minutes before Storm Tracker is supposed to get started.
15 minutes away from that. Right now, it's time for Cons and Cons.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is
So
time
close.
for Cons and Cons. Confidence and concerns. With the U.S. Open happening at Pinehurst, just about an hour and a half away, we thought we'd do confidence and concerns for players at the tournament. Players in the tournament. Who are you confident in? Who are you concerned about? Who do you think is ready for the big stage? Who do you think needs a little bit of help? It is cons and cons, and as always, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want? Well, let's start with the bad news. Start with concerns. My concern, and this is not fun for like the highlight package, my concern is for what I call scramblers.
Okay.
Jordan Spieth is the best example of this. This was a back in the day. Would you like a? Actually, Graham, you are not a golf nerd like I am. Would you like a little golf history lesson?
Sure.
All right.
Admittedly so.
Bobby Jones. We're going way back. We're talking 1930s. Bobby Jones, Walter Hagen, probably two of the best golfers to ever live. Walter Hagen, had some quotes, things like, every hole you only need one great golf shot, right? So he'd be 30 yards off the fairway on his first shot. He'd be punching out on his second shot. Third shot would be unbelievable. Put it to 1 feet, tap it in, par. Bobby Jones, on the other hand, was just the steadiest golfer maybe to ever live, right? He was down the middle. He was right down the middle, chip it onto the green, 2-putt, par, right? Now on the scorecard, those are both fours, right? Those are both pars. When you're watching it, those could not be more different. The scramblers, the Walter Hagens in a tournament like the U.S. Open at Pinehurst with the course set up the way it is, are going to have a hard time. It is very, very difficult to make that one unbelievable shot to make up for all the bad shots on the hole when the course is actively working against you. So Jordan Spieth, in a lot of ways, Tiger Woods was that way at points in his career, and probably even more so now. Justin Thomas is always trying to shape shots. He's always trying to big draw, big fade. He's trying to play the course. And then Bryson DeChambeau's that way. I know he's playing all right today, but the more and more incredible shots you need, the more and more I am concerned about you, because this course will fight back. And if you think, hey, you know what? I only need one great shot per hole. I'm thinking like this might be the week when you need 4 solid shots per hole rather than the 3 mediocre and 1 great. As I look up right now, that's Rory. Rory's out in some deep, gross vegetation. Looks like he has a decent lie, but you can't predict that once you go into that deep stuff.
I was going to say, there's been a couple of times where I've looked up on the screen today, and it's been showing these images of guys distance from when they tee off at and then where it ends up going. And it's kind of an example of what we're seeing right now with Rory McIlroy. He's in the rough. Not even in the rough. As you mentioned,
it's the wasteland.
Vegetation. Now I just can't talk.
Foliage. Say foliage.
Foliage. My girlfriend gets on me all the time for having the most Eastern North Carolina accent ever. And I think it's showing right now.
Cutting out syllables. I love it. You could just say deep grass.
The remarkable landmarks of Pinehurst. How about that?
That's perfect. What are you concerned about, Graham?
Tim, you might be a little upset with me, not because I can't speak right now, but also because what my concern is, Tiger Woods is going to not make the cut. He was even for a majority of the front 9, began his day with a birdie to open, made 5 birdies through 7 holes around the turn before finishing with a 4-over 9-stroke behind the clubhouse lead. He struggled with his iron play approaches, leaving himself too often in position and struggling to hold on to par. He's now put himself in a position where he's going to have a big outing tomorrow to make the cut, something he failed to do last month at the PGA Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's concerned about him making the cut. I told these stories yesterday. I'll give you another quick one. At the range, you just see how much the golfing world cares about Tiger, about the buzz that follows him. Right, I was at the media part of the range when Tiger was working on his game yesterday. Scotty Scheffler 6, 7, 8 something to the right. Max Homa 3 or 4 golfers to the left. Nobody cared about Scheffler or Homa at all. Everybody was locked in on Tiger taking shots. So much so that a couple players were walking by and said what, is Tiger Woods here? They were sarcastically making jokes about how all of the attention goes on Tiger.
Right.
I just saw on Twitter during a commercial break that there's actually a rule being proposed that would give Tiger a special exemption into all of the limited field events. So
interesting.
If there's 70 people or a 70-person event, 72-person event, one of those spots would just always be reserved for Tiger. That's definitely coming from the events because they're if Tiger wants to play, that's going to make us so much money. We want that opportunity. I'm sure they won't phrase it as just to let Tiger in. They'll say anyone with 80-plus career victories gets an automatic exemption into elevated events. And then you realize that only 2 people in history have 80-plus, and one of them is Tiger Woods, and the other is long since passed away. But it's everyone's concerned that he's not going to play the weekend because he shot 74 today, and he's 4 over par, or 3 over par, whatever that is. And that's not going to get it done. He's 4 over. He shot a 74. He was 3 over on the back 9, which doesn't help. So, yeah, I'm concerned about that as well. Let's get to confidence. This one is kind of the opposite of what I said. I am confident in boring players.
Okay.
I am confident in the guys that you don't want to walk around 18 holes with because you're going to fall asleep. I'm confident in the Bobby Jones in my previous example. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood. The more boring, the better. And the proven boring, the better. What I mean by that is it's one of my favorite sports analogies. I remember vividly, I think it was Patrick Mahomes' second year in the NFL. May have been his third. Don't quote me on that. But it was the first iteration of the try-hard analysts saying the league had figured Patrick Mahomes out.
Right.
And that's always hilarious to me.
Yeah.
They obviously did 3 Super Bowls.
As he goes on to win another Super Bowl, yep.
Back to back. But all they were doing was dropping everybody. They were playing too high safety, dropping everybody, because early in Patrick Mahomes' career, most of his success came on throwing it as far as he possibly could to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they were just coming down with deep balls. Seams and posts and goes and flies and all of those things. So that everybody started playing him off. And for a couple games, handful of games, he couldn't help himself. He kept trying to throw it deep, and they were being broken up and they were being intercepted, and it was, the league figured him out. And I remember vividly, this was early, actually it was early in Peyton Manning getting into media. Right now we see Peyton Manning like every Monday night, but it was when he was just getting started with that stuff. And somebody asked him about the Patrick Mahomes, did they figure him out? And he looked at it and he goes, they're just challenging his discipline. He said, when teams used to play, this is Peyton Manning talking, when teams used to play me with that too high, drop everybody to shell, I would take it as a challenge. I would, like, as a competitor, go, they don't think you have the discipline to take the check down over and over and over again. They think you're going to throw it underneath, you're going to throw it underneath, you're going to throw it underneath, and then you're going to get greedy and you're going to chuck it deep, and that's when they're going to get you. So he would take it as like this personal challenge to like throw it to the running back and the tight end short every play because they think I won't do it. They don't think I can, right? Like any athlete does. And he was like, that's what Patrick Mahomes has to do. Until they start bringing those safeties down, you have to take it as a personal challenge, as they don't think I'm smart enough to do this. And then eventually Patrick Mahomes learned, and he had a year where actually people were saying he wasn't throwing deep enough because he was just doop, doop, doop. All the Super Bowls later, there's really no figuring out that guy.
Another drop-off pass to Travis Kelce, who just bulldozes his way downfield.
Or running back out of the backfield.
There's Taylor Stewart.
Or Rashee Rice on a crosser. Like, he's just dunking and dipping and diving all over the place. That's kind of, although it's not player against player, it's player against course, that's kind of what this U.S. Open is. If you get greedy and try to hit the big drive, you're going to end up in the deep stuff. You're going to end up in the foliage. You're going to end up in the vegetation. However, if you just consistently make the conservative correct, did you see what I did there? That was a little hey, look what I can do. If you just take the conservative, down the middle, smart shot for 270 shots, right? That was the winning U.S. Open score last year. For 270 shots, if you take the check down, I think you'll be in good shape. So that's where Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Canales, some of the guys that may be seen as boring, I think are better set up to win the tournament.
Foliage. Vegetation.
There you go. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm confident in Graham.
My confidence is I'm not going to be able to ever say foliage. I was hoping I was going to be able to say it just then. Okay, seriously.
One more time. Foliage.
No. My confidence.
One more time. Foliage.
Foliage.
Where's the extra consonant coming from? Foliage. Oh, that's perfect. What are you confident in?
My confidence, and I'm kind of scared to say it because of how well he's doing right now, Rory McIlroy will finish in the top 10 at the U.S. Open.
Rory in the top 10.
And I have the stats to back it up, Tim. I'm a big stats guy. If you listen to Next Up every morning right here on The Fan from 9 to 10.
Big stats guy. Analytics guy over here. Who are you? Eric Tulsky, interim GM
just not
of
a
the
big
Carolina
vocabulary
Hurricanes?
guy, even though I speak on the radio for a living. Finished a stroke behind Wyndham Clark last year at the Los Angeles Country Club and has 5 consecutive top 10 finishes in this championship, which matches Xander's streak from 2017 to 2021 as the longest in the past 40 years of the U.S. Open. How rare is such consistency? There's only been 5 more consecutive players have had 5 or more top 10 finishes. Ben Hogan, Bob Jones, and
Bobby
Jack
Jones.
Nicklaus.
That's what I was telling you about. Who was the third one?
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, you know who that is. I'm just correcting you now because it's a game. Here's what I love about Rory. Rory has not won a major in a long time, and people are obviously getting impatient with him. I don't love that about him. I'm just saying that's the scenario. What I love about him is he is the king of what I call the backdoor top 10, where he's like never in contention. He goes into Sunday tied for 42nd and plays absolutely lights out on Sunday to finish 7th. Never really in contention to win, but 7th makes $500,000, gets a bunch of official World Golf Ranking points, a bunch of FedEx points, and goes on to the next tournament, somehow disappointed with the top 10 in a major. It's unbelievable how often he does it. He's simply too good of a golfer to, like, go 4 days not playing well. So it's like he has to, like to scratch an itch almost. He has to play well at least one day, and it happens on Sunday a lot. Today, he's found himself in some precarious situations. I don't think he's actually hurt himself too badly. I'll give you an update on where Rory is.
He's -3 right now.
-3, tied for 3rd. So on the 11th hole. So he's actually really making a move and could find himself in really good shape.
Vegetation.
Yeah, it was a good one. The only one we're having a hard time with is foliage.
Foliage. I'm about to curse.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. It's funny.
Along with everybody else that's listening in their cars right now.
Foliage.
Yeah, that.
Fo.
Fo.
Lee.
Lee.
Idge.
Idge.
Foliage.
Foliage.
I'm sorry. It's not funny. Let's get to the Storm Tracker. This is where we go for all the biggest Canes rumors. What's going on in the Canes offseason? Who is saying what? What are they saying it about? But before we move on and get to some Canes rumors, in time for Father's Day this weekend, we want to help you recognize dear old dad. Text DAD, D-A-D, to 919-860-5326. Click the link and nominate a deserving father figure in your life to win a grilling prize pack that includes $50 Carolina Ale House gift card, grill accessories, beer and wine, local spices and sauces. It's a great grilling prize pack. Go ahead and text DAD, D-A-D, to 919-860-5326. Click the link and nominate a deserving father figure in your life to win that grilling prize pack. Dear Old Dad is served up by Carolina Ale House, where all dads get a free varsity burger this Friday. Now let's get into some Canes rumors. Elliot Friedman, actually, you know what? Before we get into a rumor, let's get into a more confirmed report. Just about everybody that covers the Canes and just about everybody that covers the NHL reported earlier today, the Canes are in agreement with Jalen Chatfield on a 3-year, $9 million deal. If you want our immediate reactions to it, we were on the air when that news broke. You can go find it on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. I think it's a fair deal. I think it's a good deal for the Canes. I think it gives them stability moving forward with their top 2 pairs of defensemen. And also it's a great deal for Jalen Chatfield, who has made really good money by normal people standards, but in the NHL has been a steal for the past few years. Now will be making $3 million per year over the next 3. Very deserving. Happy for everybody involved. Now let's get into some rumors. Some other reporting on the Canes. Elliot Friedman, Sportsnet, had this to say about the Hurricanes' plan for this offseason.
They are going to extend Slavin. They are going to get something done with him. So it's not necessarily a job for this year, but it is looking at their cap down the future. They're going to take care of him. Now, the other things they have to do, there's varying degrees of confidence on players like Pesce and Shea, but I think the other one is going to be Necas. I think Carolina did have a plan that if they didn't like what they saw out there, that they could bring Necas back. Necas hasn't said anything publicly, but the word around the league coming out of the combine is he doesn't want to go back. And so I think Carolina is telling teams, okay, we're prepared to do this, but we consider Necas a star. They believe that outside of Brendan Moore's system, he will take off, and they are talking about a return accordingly. They expect star power in return.
Few things there. Planning to extend Slavin.
Good.
Sky also blue. Water also wet. That is the most basic thing they should be doing, because Slavin is that important to what they do. And if you're going to move on from Brady Shea, if you're going to move on from Brett Pesce, you want to have that kind of keeper of the culture on the defensive side. Slavin's probably already that. His game will age gracefully. He will not fall off a cliff. Yes, Slavin, long-term extension, make it happen. Latest on Necas I thought was interesting. First of all, and I'm a little, just a teensy-weensy kind of against consensus on this. As long as a player is a good player, good locker room guy, professional, I don't much care if he wants to be here or not. I'm not trading him if the right deal isn't out there, right? So, the Canes, they always thought that if they couldn't get a deal done, they'd keep Martin Necas. But word on the street is Martin Necas doesn't want to be there. And I'm going, well, unfortunately for Martin Necas, right, the nature of a restricted free agent or the nature of a contract is you don't always get to choose where you get to go, right? There are things that all of us don't like to do, but if our boss asks us to, we got to do it, right? It's kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. People move for their jobs all the time. People relocate for their jobs all the time. Sometimes your job tells you where to live. So there is a limit to this, and I call it when somebody goes full James Harden. If they actively try to deteriorate your team from the inside, if they try to be a complete and total piece of dynamite, just blowing things up, then you do have to make a decision, right? James Harden, if he's going to be at a press conference saying my teammates stink, then you got to trade him. I don't see Martin Necas doing that. As unhappy as he gets, you might hear from his dad on some podcasts. He's been around. He's been in trade talks for the last 2 years. If you don't find the right deal for Martin Necas, if there's not one of these 6 or 7 teams that are going to pay through the nose for Martin Necas, keep him. You're already probably going to have to move on from Jake Gensel. You're already probably going to have to move on from Teuvo Teravainen. You're going to have change in your forwards. Martin Necas can play in the Kane system. He might be better in a different system, but he can play in the Kane system. So I'm not forcing a trade. However, I am actively pursuing a trade. Right, I am seeing what you can offer. I'm on the phone. I'm making the calls. I'm feeling it out. But I never want to act from a position of desperation or need, where it's bad going into a draft if you're like, I need to draft a defenseman. It's like, well, what if the best player is a forward or goalie? I need to draft a defenseman. I need to trade Martin Necas. It's not a good place to be. I'm open to trading Martin Necas if the right deal pops up. Best player available has always got to be the mindset. Situation doesn't drive anything nearly as much as it should. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Matt Chazanow is taking over as the voice of NC State, replacing the legend Gary Hahn. Matt Chazanow will be joining us on the phones, the Heastar Automotive Group hotline, coming up after this.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value, it's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for that home improvement project you've been wanting to get done. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift that keeps on giving with the Butcher's Market Steak of the Month Club. Dad will enjoy a fresh, hand-cut steak every month for 6 months, like a prime New York strip steak, a Brazilian picanha, a petite sirloin roast, and a thick-cut T-bone steak, just to name a few. Plus great bonus items like burgundy wine marinated mushrooms and so much more. The Steak of the Month Club is exciting, easy, and just perfect for Dad. Sign up today at any of the Butcher's Market's 6 Triangle locations or at thebutchersmarkets.com. Now open at Lake Boone Trail.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Guess what a burger's favorite day is?
What?
Friday.
Dad, that's not funny.
This Father's Day, celebrate your worst dad jokes with Carolina Ale House. On Sunday, June 16th, dads can get a free varsity burger at any Carolina Ale House in the Triangle. It's the most popular burger on the menu, and Dad deserves it. Butter his buns with a free varsity burger, and maybe his favorite beer, too. Dine in only, no purchase necessary at Carolina Ale House.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You guys do so many things: windows, doors, siding, gutters, awnings, roofing.
Roofing is the most important part of your home. You want to make sure you keep the water out. Our roofing products made by Certainty, the shingle roofing, it comes in a lot of different colors, a lot of different styles, but it has a 50-year, 5-star warranty on all material and labor, backed by the manufacturer. It's non-prorated.
I've never heard of a 50-year warranty. I always hear like 20 or 30.
Unless a tree hits the house or you have some storm damage, it'll be the last roof you ever put on your home.
I like that. What about metal roofing?
We do a lot of metal roofing. We got the standing seam, comes in a lot of different colors, and it'll last forever, but it doesn't have the 50-year warranty like the shingled roofing does.
Sounds like you're pushing shingle roofing, which you should, probably.
It's affordable, and again, it's hard to beat because it's really the last roof you'll have to pay to put on your home.
Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Earlier today, NC State put out some social media announcements. One of them, Matt Chazanow, I'll have to make sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's the first time talking with him. Is taking over as voice of NC State. We're talking football, basketball, and he joins us now on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Matt, thank you for taking the time. Let me be among the first to welcome you to the Triangle, and we'll start with that very basic question. Chazanow? Are we getting that right?
Yeah, it's what it looks like.
All right, cool.
Now. Yeah, a little more emphasis on the Chaz. But, hey, man, it's great to talk to you, and thank you for having me, and I appreciate the welcome.
We'll now that we have the most basic out of the way, we'll go to the slightly less or slightly more basic, I guess. Why NC State? Why is this the move for you?
You know, it's funny. I got that question. It seems so obvious to me that I actually to me, NC State is the peak of all of this. I think NC State is the most incredible opportunity, and I mean that no hyperbole. I've never had to, BS my way through any question to anybody through this process, and that is one of my favorites. From history of winning to then obviously a little bit of recency bias. It's one of the great roles in college athletics history is 2024 for the Wolfpack. And I'm honored to be a part of it. And I couldn't be more excited. Like I said, great history, so much past winning, current winning. And I know in this climate from my current experience and all that I've done over about 20 years, you can't do that without great people. It's just not possible. There are too many things that go into it. It's really not transactional. It's not just about money. It's not just about resources. And I think I won't name some schools, but all college athletics fans know that, right? There's some schools with big budgets that don't get it done at the level. And look, it matters, right? I mean, there's no doubt that NC State is fully resourced, but it doesn't just require that. And so I'm excited to be a part of that and work with the best people. And it's just an amazing opportunity. It's a pinch me day. It's awesome.
Matt Chazanow taking over as voice of NC State. He is joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on The Drive. Matt, for people that want to know kind of what your vibe is and maybe haven't listened to a ton of Washington State, who are your influences? Like, who are your goats of play-by-play?
That's a great question. I've kind of plucked a bunch of stuff and picked, I don't have like one guy, it's not like, I model myself or copy this, I think you could look at like, I'll pick some West Coast guys just because I've been out here and I don't say that, in any way lacking deference to, full deference to Gary Hahn and Woody Durham and, all of the greats. The late, great Bob Harris just passed away. And, but Kevin Calabro on the West Coast is incredibly specific in his radio play-by-play. He does TV for the Blazers now. I've always admired his work, his energy. He's done some national stuff for ESPN. He did the Sonics forever. He's great. The gentleman I replaced was named Bob Robertson here at Washington State. He was here 50 years. He wasn't good. He was great. He really captured the fan base, but he was so specific and so detailed, and on the timing was right. All of his fundamentals from it, but also he understood the passion of the moment. And I think that inflection and energy is something that is integral to lending to that. And he always nailed that. And look, there are guys all around the country who do this in different ways. And I think that you can kind of glean, like, you could never ever copy Keith Jackson. He's so unique, he was so special in the way he did it that but you admire that he was authentic, right? And I think above all, what you can take from a guy like that is you go, all right, I'm not going to sound or be like Keith Jackson. And one could, or, another example of a guy who's like that is Vin Scully. You're not going to just emulate that and bottle it and put it in your own ethos and make it yours. But they were them. They were in their own skin. And I think above all, to be authentic and respectful and humble and kind and be yourself and be unafraid to be yourself, because it's a vulnerable place to be, is probably the best way to do it.
So you've referenced Washington State a few times. We've here in ACC country, which we're happy to include you in, have watched the Pac-12, Washington State, Oregon State, whatever that is, from afar, and I'm interested as somebody that was obviously as close as you can be. What happened, and are there warning signs or advice that we should be looking for the current Power 4 conferences? Because you go back not that long ago, the Pac-12 looked invincible, and now it's definitely not even in existence.
Yeah, let me give you a two-pronged answer on that, and hopefully we get to talk again. And I appreciate you having me on. And there will kind of be two hats I wear. One of them is I'm at practice. I know the roster. I know the team. Let's preview Western Carolina. Let's preview Tennessee, right? Like, I'm in.
I love that you know the schedule already. Good work. Good prep.
Oh yeah, no, we're locked and loaded. We're dialed in. I'm be out there, and I can't wait. Can't wait for practice to start, and the enthusiasm is real. I'm really, really excited about this. But that's one hat, right? And that is the core competency of this. In that, and I'm going somewhere with the answer. Just I'll answer your question.
Yep.
But like, if you're doing 70 down the highway and I'm calling the game, I want you to know exactly what's going on with the Pack and what the stories of the game are and all those things. And that is with firsthand primary source. I witnessed it information, and here we are. I was not in the rooms with our former Washington State's former athletic director, Pat Chun, the soon-to-be retiring president, Kirk Schultz, Larry Scott, George Kliavkoff. Like, I was more of a witness and felt it than I was privy to it. So I don't want to say anything that is mischaracterized as I am the source for conference realignment in the Pac, because that wouldn't be accurate. I did live it, and I did get a sense for how it went wrong, quite honestly, and they got picked apart, and I think the sense I got was there was if not a lack of urgency, maybe at times over the last 10, 15 years, probably an overconfidence from the folks in charge. There was some leadership issues with the way they set the finances up of the league TV network. They kind of went to war. They went to battle with ESPN and Fox, and now it's Peacock and NBC and Amazon Prime and all these other streaming entities are involved. And I don't know about warning signs and flares for the ACC. That seems to be now currently being discussed by lawyers and different jurisdictions in different states, and it's Florida and it's North Carolina, in the state of North Carolina,
Yep.
and elsewhere. So it's kind of over my I don't have any inside info you don't have, but relative to the Pac, I can say it's been anxious for the Cougs and the Beavs. They have landed on the right side of some financial lawsuits lately. What was so unique about the Pac, and maybe this helps answer your question in a more meaty, detailed way, is often when there's been conference realignment, like two teams have left the league. So like Oklahoma and Texas leave the Big 12, right? And then the Big 12 backfills. It's been rare that 10 teams leave a league and 2 remain. That's bizarre, and it was unique. That was a very odd, imperfect storm, for lack of a better word. And so it created a sense of an island. Now they're still regarded as power entities by the NCAA bylaws and the way the players are going to start to get paid and where all that currently stands. So in some ways they're not in the worst shape, but they're in a bit of purgatory trying to figure out what's what. So it's definitely there are definitely like teams leaving the Pac to the Big 12 that kind of felt like let's jump ship. UCLA and USC left. The Washington Oregon thing seemed to come down to the very wire. Like until it's signed, it's not signed. That was right down to the wire from what I heard. And I'm not going to lie, it's stressful and anxious for everybody involved. I think the league, the teams, the university presidents, athletic directors. It feels existential, and it feels like things are evolving. I'll also say this: conference realignment is as old as college football. Mm-hmm. It's been going on for 100 years or longer. It's part of the fabric of college football. The Southwest Conference dissolved. The Big East Football Conference dissolved, and obviously the ACC has benefited in many ways from that, and had schools added. And I was my whole life was in Big East and ACC country until I came out here, and so I lived that and felt it. And it's part of the story of what this is, and it will continue. It's not done yet.
Matt, we appreciate you for taking the time, introducing you a little bit to the triangle here, and we look forward to catching up with you again in the future.
All right, I love it. Thanks so much for having me, and go Pack, and I can't wait. I appreciate you.
Once again, that's Matt Chazanow, the brand new voice of the North Carolina State Wolfpack, who just made the announcement earlier today. He'll be replacing the legendary Gary Hahn. We will be taking a break, but first, I need to tell you about what's going on at DraftKings Sportsbook. We are this close, right on the edge of crowning an NBA champ. And with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And DraftKings Sportsbook has it covered every step of the way with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down. Maybe in Game 4 you're expecting an angry Luka to go out there and be aggressive because he fouled out of Game 3. Well, you can go find the different player props that allow you to bet the over-unders on those statistics. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings, and even if you're a first-timer and you want to keep it a little bit more simple, try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download it. Select your team. Place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers, bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. To do that, to get the bonus bucks, you need to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD at sign-up. That's TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, the starting five, we look back at the U.S. Open as it goes on right now. Next.
99.9 The Fan and Arise Urology Clinic present Men's Health Month. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, a greater risk of stroke, and increased risk of erectile dysfunction. Start your winning streak now and commit to quit. You'll fix your organs, get your looks back, and end the smoker's cough. The long-term benefits lower the chance of death and decrease your danger to your body for your future. Men's Health Month is powered by Arise. Call Arise Urology Clinic for Men at 919-964-3750 or visit CoreWaveTherapy.com.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Where'd y'all go last week?
Well, we've been watching our budget.
So no going out?
Oh yeah, we're going out, just hitting all the specials. First, we hit the House of Hops. That's Jerome's favorite spot. Big savings on Monday and Wednesdays. Mix and match craft beer and 25% off on to-go growlers. Oh, it's a great place to relax.
The Mix has some good specials and they're across the street.
You have to check out their wine tastings once a month and their live music schedule, plus $5 draft beer on Thursdays. Then Saturday, it's Salt and Lime Brunch, and Monday they have $5 margaritas.
Wait, what about Sharky's?
Oh, sweetie, you know Sharky's is special all the time.
So you're just going in a circle. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. Sounds like a vicious cycle.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a vicious cycle. More like a wonderful cycle.
Yeah, sounds like a cycle I need to be riding.
House of Hops, the Mix, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Definitely a cycle you should be riding. Hope to see you soon.
Everyone and everything is trying to become more streamlined, more efficient these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and this is your chance to streamline your day-to-day. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of everything involved. The lenses, the cleaning, the trips to the store, the replacement lenses and glasses, and the cost that comes with them. So how about we hit up Travers LASIK? Get Dr. Lori Travers to work her magic, 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day. That may or may not be a selling point. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off, 0% financing for qualified customers. And if you are not sure if you can afford it, just go to TraversLASIK.com. Check out their affordability calculator. Very official. The consultation is free. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We had a warm afternoon. It stays that way tonight. Clear sky, the low 69. Mostly sunny and hot for your Friday, the high 94. In the evening, with the approach of a cold front, we can't rule out a shower, maybe even a storm.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 65 points at 38,647.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
It is time for the starting five here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. As always, we start with number 5. The U.S. Open is going on as we speak. And one of my favorite traditions watching a major over the last, 5-7 years is watching Tyrrell Hatton. And if you don't know who Tyrrell Hatton is, he is a European golfer, Irish. He does not control his emotions. We have an all-time Tyrrell Hatton today on a par 3 off the tee. And this just goes to show you how confusing these greens are, how confusing Pinehurst is playing for these players.
How much they eat you alive as a golfer.
But in this case, the reverse happened. Tyrrell Hatton, off the tee, takes a swing and absolutely hates it on contact. Drops his club. It flops on the ground in his backswing. He kicks his club only to look up, watch the ball skip across the very firm part in front of the green, right up onto the green, and it settles about 8 feet from the hole. So this is the definition of, like in basketball, where you take a jump shot and you're like, oh, no, off, and then it banks in, and you're like, never mind, I'm good.
Yeah. You just put your hands up like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It is the reverse of what we're seeing with most players, which is they're making shots at Pinehurst, which is an hour and a half away. They're making shots that they think are good, that their entire golfing history says that's going to settle in nicely. It's landing on the green, it's running off. It's landing on the green, it's slowly starting, and it's in a bunker.
Yep.
It's the reverse, right? It's not doing what their brains tell them that it should be doing because the conditions aren't like what they're used to playing in. The other thing is that actually the type of grass. Let's get nerdy. Let's talk foliage.
Oh no.
The type of grass that Pinehurst has on the green is grainy. Okay, this is actually true. So whether you're chipping or putting into the grain or with the grain, actually matters. And you have to read that in addition to the undulation of the green, the tilting, and everything else that you normally have to read. It's going to be a tough couple of days for the professional golfers. And I know that sounds a bit like, the millionaire's house is too big.
Them, yeah.
Like, the private jet took too long to fill up. Their job is playing golf, so we don't feel bad for them. But there is a bit of stamina mentally that's going to be tested over the 4 days at Pinehurst, and it's happening, right? Like what happened to Tyrrell Hatton is exhausting in its own right? You thought you made a terrible shot, you got mad at yourself, you kicked the club. Turns out it was a good shot. Those kinds of crazy things happen. Let's hear from Xander Schauffele, one of the better players on tour, who talked about the way that Pinehurst is going to test a player.
Yeah, very much along the lines of a U.S. Open. Obviously not the traditional one with sort of really long grass, rough, and stuff like that, but true test of a U.S. Open where, par is a really good score. And, 5 sometimes isn't going to hurt you either.
Par is a really good score. For us, par is always a good score. For them, that shows how difficult the course is playing. By the way, golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open. Here's part of the current leaderboard from Pinehurst presented by McConnell Golf. Patrick Cantlay, actually all three of the top three, minus Rory McIlroy, who's tied for third at 3 under, are from the morning wave. So you may say that the course was playing a bit easier earlier today. Patrick Cantlay, 5 under. He's in first by himself. Ludwig Aubert is in second by himself, 4 under par. Then there's Matthew Pavon, Rory McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau, all in a tie for third at 3 under par. So it's a nice mix up there at the top, right? Some unusual, some of the best players in golf. It should be a really nice leaderboard going into Friday if it kind of stays how it's sitting right now. Tied for 6th at 2 under par, Tony Finau and Sung Kang. If you're looking for a Tiger Woods update, he played in the morning rounds, had a rough go-around. He was 4 over par. He is tied for 112th. So he's really going to have to make up some ground tomorrow if he wants to make that cut and see the weekend. U.S. Open updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast. That's McConnell Golf. That all, the U.S. Open talk was number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
NBA Finals, Game 3 last night. The Celtics are up 3-0. To follow up on something we said yesterday, before the game, that was a must-win game for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, if you listen to this show, you know I take must-win seriously. I don't say it's a must-win game unless it's a must-win game.
All cards on the table.
Which means if you lose, there are great consequences. The great consequences for the Dallas Mavericks is their season is over. They'll finish as the runner-up.
Dallas Mavericks have the Boston Celtics, have the Dallas Mavericks in a stranglehold.
The thing is, the 3 games have been very different, right? There's been games where Kristaps Porzingis was one of the better players for the Celtics. He didn't even play in Game 3. There's been games where Jason Tatum couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He scored 30-plus last night. There's been games where Kyrie played poorly. Kyrie played well last night. There's been games where Luka plays great. There's been games when Luka plays poorly. Like, there's been games where Derek White shot it very well. Like, there's all of these different games that have taken place. The only constant is the Celtics have won all 3.
Yep.
So that tells me that, you know, maybe there's something the Mavericks can pull out of their hat and say, I haven't seen this yet. But it feels like they're getting to the point where they've tried everything they can try. And the Celtics have answered all of their, like, they've returned serve every single time. I give the Celtics a lot of credit. They, throughout this postseason run, have looked like the best team in the NFL.
The more and more,
NBA.
The more and more I begin to cover sports, hopefully for what will be a long, successful career.
Hey, look at you.
Fingers crossed.
We'll work on saying foliage.
Yeah, the more I realize, and I know you're not big into jinx, but if somebody ever says before they preview a series, this should be the best blank playoff, best finals in a decade or in so many long, it's always a sweep. That's what I feel like always happens.
And maybe.
I mean, you had so many storylines coming into this as far as, well, the main storyline being Kyrie Irving returning to Boston to play against the Celtics, a place where he once promised to hang a banner, and he's going to get to for the Celtics.
Ooh, you think this is maybe him breaking a curse of some kind?
I don't know about that. I just know that he is going to still get to hang a banner for the Boston Celtics. It's just going to come at the cost of him losing with the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA
Fulfilling
Finals.
a prophecy, if you will, made by him, whatever that was, like 5-7 years ago.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I'm not superstitious. You're the one that's superstitious. I'm in your world here.
Foliage.
There we go. Vegetation. Oh, we're on fire.
Foliage.
Can you say the state fish of Hawaii?
No, and I'm convinced he made that up when we were talking to Bree in the bullpen.
Let's hear from Jason Tatum on how the Celtics are responding to all the runs from the Mavs.
The game of basketball is about runs, and this is at the highest level. That's the best team in the West at this point in the time. So they're going to make shots. They're going to go on a run, and it's just all about how do you respond. We talk about it all the time. 20-point leads, none of that is ever safe. It's never time to relax. And, yeah, you never want to give up a 20-point lead. Obviously, we wish we'd have got some better shots, took care of the ball. But things happen. It's never going to go how you expect it. And we talk about that all the time. But if you want to be a champion, you have to be resilient in those moments. And, we showed that tonight.
We showed that tonight. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of coach speak to me. Jason Tatum shot the ball better in Game 3, and that's probably why he's feeling good. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Corporate sponsorship of college conferences could be coming soon. All of this from Action Network. Big 12 in discussions with Allstate on a naming rights deal to change the league's name, sources told Action Network. This was a tweet by Brett McMurphy.
Interesting.
Deal could be worth between $30 and $50 million annually. And name possibilities include the Big All-State Conference or the All-State 12 Conference.
Wow.
Sources said. That's about as subtle as a sledgehammer through the wall.
I just want to know how we're going to be able to work Pop-Tarts into a Power 5 conference.
Or maybe not Power 5. What about this? Conference USA, which is closer to around here, teams in kind of more in our region than the Big 12. Conference USA in discussions with companies, most notably Globe Life, for naming rights deals, sources told Action Network. Again, this is from Brett McMurphy. New name possibilities for the multi-million-dollar deal include Globe Life Conference USA or Globe Life Conference, sources said.
The Athletic American Conference, why not just stick the All-State American Conference on there?
All-State American Conference, All-State USA.
You still keep the abbreviations.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking. Because my immediate thought goes to, all right, if the Big 12 is going to get, if we go on the high end of their range, $45 or $50 million a year, that's divided up amongst however many teams are in the Big 12 now. It's more than 12, right? 15? That's like $3 or $4 million per team. So if the ACC wants to keep up, does the ACC need to change their name to some kind of corporate sponsor?
What former ACC basketball coach is in a lot of commercials for an insurance company?
Oh, I see. I thought you were
Coach K. So how about the ACC turns into the Aflac Coast Conference?
Aflac Coast Conference. I do like the idea of keeping the ACC the ACC. You can name it whatever you want, but the ACC, the initials.
Yeah, you got to keep the initials.
A similar thing happened with the conference I played in. I played football for the University of Delaware in the Colonial Athletic Association, the CAA. Delaware is now leaving. They're actually joining the Conference USA, so we'll see whatever the heck they end up being called. But at a certain point, there was so much realignment that a bunch of the teams in the CAA weren't from states that were colonies, so it didn't make sense to call them the Colonial Athletic Association anymore. So they just changed it to the Coastal Athletic Association and kept it CAA. And I was like, that's genius, because we called it the CAA anyway. We didn't call it the Colonial. So if you can change the ACC and keep it the ACC, I like that.
The Colonel Sanders Athletic Association.
All-State Conference Coalition.
Ooh.
Right? Something like that. I like that for an idea. Although I do have to give a hat tip to Paul Ihander, who you work with every morning on Next Up from 9 to 10 right here on 99.9 The Fan. Also our program director. He tweeted out, how do you like the Chick-fil-A CC?
Oh.
Chick-fil-A ACC. It's like a before and after in Wheel of Fortune.
It did start in Atlanta, home of Georgia Tech.
ACC, and then the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic could be 2 ACC teams every year.
See, if only the Pac-12 was still around, or even the Pac-2, you could make it the Pop-Tart Athletic Conference.
Pop-Tart Athletic Conference. Hey, why not? I don't think this is the end of the world. I like the history, but if it allows teams to spend a little bit more money, if it allows teams to pay the players, I'm fine. It does feel a little sell-out-y, right? It feels a bit like when U2 put all of their album was on every new iPhone that was sold, and it was like, wow, U2 really become part of the system there, didn't you?
Drake released one of his new albums a couple years back, and you could only get it if you signed up for Apple Music when it first launched.
It's I get it, but then it's like, it's a business decision, and if the ACC needs to turn into the Amazon ACC,
cash money flows in the world or rules the world.
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
That
As long as I can still tune in on Saturdays and watch my college football, as long as a couple times a week I can watch my college basketball, I don't care if you call it the I don't even know, some made up word. Call them the Sploosh Conference. Which is a shout-out to the book Holes, for anyone that's read that one. But I do think it's time for us to start Time for us to start brainstorming. Chick-fil-A CC. Can anyone do better than the Chick-fil-A
Tweet us your
CC?
best ideas. At Donnelly Sports, at
What
Graham Hill
corporate
98.
partnership should they be looking for? Amazon Conference Coalition. Just go straight to Mr. Moneybags Bezos himself. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Stanley Cup Finals Game 3 tonight. Must win for the Edmonton Oilers. Going back home to Edmonton, down 2-0. Must win. Need to happen. And I have some bad news for the Oilers. Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Panthers, says Barkov and Tarasenko are both good to go. They'll be playing.
Ooh.
Which, I said this before, the Panthers are going to be mad, right?
Right.
They didn't love the hit on Barkov.
Yeah. He's going to come out with his hair on fire tonight, as if the Edmonton Oilers did not need anything else going against them. They now have that.
And the Oilers were already getting pushed around. Like, they were already getting out-physicaled by the Panthers, and then they went and upset the Panthers even more. It's the guy who's getting his tail kicked in a barroom brawl, but like with his mouth bloody, his eye cut, he can't stand up straight, is still talking trash. It's like, you want to get him more mad? I said this before. If I were the Oilers, this would be my strategy. The Panthers are awesome. They're such nice guys. They play so great. It's unbelievable.
We love the state of Florida. It's so warm here.
Matthew Tkachuk is truly underrated
We're
amongst
not
the
used to
best
this in
players in
Edmonton.
the league. That's what I'd be doing if I were the Oilers, because I don't want to make the Panthers more mad. I want to make them more chill, right? I want to make them less mad. So it's I think it's going to be a little bit of a barroom brawl tonight.
But no.
And I when it comes to a barroom brawl, I like the Panthers.
Instead, the Edmonton Oilers went full throwing rocks at the back of Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th movie, provoking me even more.
It's exactly that.
You think you're a big shot? And it's like, yeah, well, he has a machete.
Now you're going to find out.
Yeah.
And Barkov, by the way, especially if he's like actually healthy, and he's not out there skating at like 70%, he's been one of the guys that's been tasked with marking Connor McDavid, and he's done a pretty good job of it, as good as you can expect. So if he's out there, I mean, that's a blow to the momentum of Edmonton already, just by the fact that Barkov was out there, and they may have been looking forward to taking advantage of his absence.
Now, you just hope that you don't go full retaliation mode if you're the Florida Panthers and try to deliver a unnecessary hit, which in the Stanley Cup playoffs, there's really no
there's not going to be any of that.
There's the Jacob Trouba trying to elbow more than Necas. But you just hope they don't go for a retaliation hit on Connor McDavid just for
I would be
the heck of
more
it.
worried about the first time they match up next season in the regular season than I would right now the Panthers can taste it.
Right.
They're 2 games away from a Stanley Cup, and if they win this one, they're up 3-0, which, I mean, it's all over but the crying, right?
Why sacrifice a 5-minute minor penalty, major penalty, just to get a hit back on McDavid?
And why give them something to rally around in the way they've given you something to rally around? It's tonight is very, very important, and I don't expect any. I mean, unless there is that kind of snap moment where you let your emotions get the best of you, but I don't think there's going to be any kind of retaliation that appears, pre-planned. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Elliot Friedman, the Sportsnet, with the latest on the Hurricanes offseason.
They are going to extend Slavin. They are going to get something done with him. So it's not necessarily a job for this year, but it is looking at their cap down the future. They're going to take care of him. Now, the other things they have to do, there's varying degrees of confidence on players like Pesce and Shea, but I think the other one is going to be Necas. I think Carolina did have a plan that if they didn't like what they saw out there, that they could bring Necas back. Necas hasn't said anything publicly, but the word around the league coming out of the combine is he doesn't want to go back, and so I think Carolina is telling teams, okay, we're prepared to do this, but we consider Necas a star. They believe that outside of Brendan Moore's system, he will take off, and they are talking about a return accordingly. They expect star power in return.
There's another report on The Athletic, Pierre LeBrun, that says the suitors for Martin Necas, have dwindled a bit down to 5 to 7 teams. Here's my take on Marty Necas as a trade, as a potential guy being sent out of the Canes, and everybody's been talking about it. We've been talking about it. Our storm tracker's been filled with it for what feels like months, but it's probably been weeks. Trade him if you can get a good deal. My advice for trades is always the same. Do you feel like you're bringing back more value in totality than you are giving up?
Yep.
And that means in locker room culture, that means in speed and scoring, that means on the ice, that means off the ice, that means do you get more top-end talent? Like, do you think it's a good deal? That's what it comes down, like 5 to 7 teams as suitors, which is what Pierre LeBrun is reporting. That's plenty. All you need, the line before a draft every year is you only need one team to fall in love with you. If you're a prospect, you only need one team to fall in love with you. They'll draft you. That's all it takes. If you are trading a player, you only need 2, right? Because 2 teams can bid each other up. If it's only one, they can still bully you a little bit. But if 2 teams, they'll bid each other up, right? Okay, what did they go to? They went to a young player and a first-round pick. All right, we'll do a young player, a first-round pick, and a prospect. Oh, they did the prospect. All right, I'll do a young player who's been an all-star. And it's like you build it up and build it up and build it up that way. 5 to 7 is plenty. The only question I have is, can you bring back a massive star-quality haul for Martin Necas? If not, bring him back.
You're losing guys anyways.
Let him score 10 goals in the first 15 games next year and then sell him. Like there's no blueprint to this. And if Martin Necas wants out, right? That's what you just heard from Elliot Friedman. Okay, if the word on the street is he wants out, I'm being like, you can treat these guys like professionals. All right, let me call him up. Hey, listen, Martin. Yeah. This is I can't even say the GM. They don't have one. This is someone from the Canes that has the power to be making this conversation. Listen, we understand you want out. Is that true? Okay, you want out. Here's what you need to do. We promise we'll look to trade you before the deadline next year. But we're not getting the offers that we see are valuable to your skill set. So we're going to need you to lock in and play really, really well the first month of a season. We'll trade you by the deadline. But we need you to live up to your side of the bargain. Treat them like adults.
We need some power play goals.
Have a real conversation with them. Not a power play because you're going to be on the second unit. But I think that's part of why he wants to leave is he wants to be on a first power play unit. But it's like we need to work together to make this work. If they're not getting the deals they want, if the somebody out there, Vancouver, whoever, Boston, like there's all these teams that are supposedly suitors. If they do make a big enough offer, then you call Martin, you go, hey, turns out you're not going to have to do that for us. We just sent you to blah, blah, blah. Have fun. We think you're going to have a great career there. And you know, we'll root for you in every game except for when you're playing us. You can treat these guys like adults, especially the ones that have been in the league for a while. And Martin Necas has been around. I know he's only 25, but he has been around for a while. He's seen the business at work a few times already. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. We have a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson and family, as well as Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and Allison Krauss at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 23rd. We need 2 contestants to battle it out in the numbers game for that pair of tickets. If you want to play, call 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Have you thought about what to do if you are ever in an accident? Have you thought about maybe your insurance policy is up to date? Are you underinsured, maybe uninsured? This is where Law Tigers comes in. Go to lawtigers.com. Again, lawtigers.com and request a free rider benefits kit. Again, a free rider benefits kit. It's for you, the rider, whether you've been riding for decades, just a few years, maybe only a couple of months, or on the bike for the first time, or maybe looking to ride for the first time, it's a benefit to you because Law Tigers is there to protect you, the rider. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company if you are ever injured in a motorcycle accident. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They understand what your bike and your gear are worth. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's Men's Health Month, and WakeMed wants to remind you to protect your skin to reduce your risk for skin cancer, sunburn, and premature skin aging. For any exposed skin, sunscreen should be worn. It should be broad spectrum to fight UVA and UVB rays, an SPF of 30 or higher, and be water resistant. Apply sunscreen 15 minutes prior to exposure and every 2 hours. So whether you are headed out to mow the lawn or to get in 18 holes, make sure you are covered, literally. For more information, visit wakemed.org.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Hey, you love what you love. So save on your faves, like a sausage McMuffin with egg or bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for just $2.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift that keeps on giving with the Butcher's Market Steak of the Month Club. Dad will enjoy a fresh, hand-cut steak every month for 6 months, like a prime New York strip steak, a Brazilian picanha, a petite sirloin roast, and a thick-cut T-bone steak, just to name a few. Plus great bonus items like burgundy wine marinated mushrooms and so much more. The Steak of the Month Club is exciting, easy, and just perfect for Dad. Sign up today at any of the Butcher's Market's 6 Triangle locations or at thebutchersmarkets.com. Now open at Lake Boone Trail.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
Hey y'all, happy summer from Oak City Customs. We have a lot of cool things happening, including new offerings on custom sun sails, pergolas, outdoor tables and furnishings, raised garden beds, and so much more. All fully customizable and available in any size. We also are now hosting official shop tours for you to experience this unique fabrication process in person. Come visit us or check us out further at oakcitycustoms.com. We look forward to meeting you.
It's here, the Chatley Boat and Marine Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats for 6 days only, June 10th through the 15th. Boats as low as $300 a month. Rebates up to $8,000 plus special financing. Large inventory ready for immediate delivery. All boats are water tested before delivery on the Chatley on-site test lake. The Inventory Reduction Sale featuring Yamaha boats June 10th through the 15th. Open nightly until 6:30, Saturday until 3, only at Chatley Boat and Marine in Sanford.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today's winner will be a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson and family, Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and Allison Krauss, all at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 23rd. Talk about a lineup. The contestants for today are Casey from Wake Forest and Terry in Raleigh. As always, we have to ask a question. Then we pick whose answer we like best, and that person gets to go first. Earlier today, we talked with Matt Chazanow, the brand new voice of the NC State Wolfpack, just announced earlier today. So inspired by that, Casey, who is your GOAT play-by-play announcer? Who's your favorite play-by-play announcer of all time?
I think growing up a Hurricane fan, I got to go Chuck Keaton.
All right.
I don't know if there's anyone better than him.
All right, I like the answer. I like the localness as well. I don't know if that's a word. We'll go to Terry in Raleigh. Terry, who is your favorite play-by-play or color commentator?
I'm going to say Johnny Most, Boston Celtics.
Johnny Most. All right.
Back in the day.
I was going to say that's another one. In fairness, usually I lean local when we go with the answer in Boston. Yeah, but if you're a Boston fan, you're having a good enough week already, so you don't need to go first. Let's jump to Casey in Wake Forest. Casey gets to go first. Casey, are you there?
Yep.
All right. The categories are NFL All the Shawns, all players with Sean in their name. NFL Dave or David, all players whose first names are David or Dave. NBA Current Players Only, or NHL Canes and Whalers Only.
I'll do NFL Sean.
All right. All these players have Sean in their name. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me their jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Sean Merriman, San Diego Chargers.
55.
Incorrect. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns.
4.
Correct. LaShawn McCoy, Philadelphia Eagles.
25.
Correct. Sean Alexander, Seattle Seahawks.
37.
Correct. Sean Landetta, Philadelphia Eagles.
Pass.
Sean Merriman, San Diego Chargers.
51.
Incorrect. Sean Landetta, Philadelphia Eagles. The only two left.
24.
Incorrect. Sean Merriman, San Diego Chargers. Oh, I thought we were going to get Merriman. Merriman, number 56. You came out the gates with 55. I thought you were going to get there. But a strong stretch in the middle. You got Deshaun Watson 4. You got LaShawn McCoy 25. We would have also accepted 29. He wore that for a bit. Sean Alexander with the Seahawks, number 37. Nailed it. Sean Landetta with the Eagles wore number 7. But still, 3 is a very solid number. You'll be the leader in the clubhouse. Go ahead and sit on the line, and we'll see if it holds up.
All right.
That brings us to Terry in Raleigh. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough act to follow.
And we've seen it done. The categories you have are NFL Dave or Davids, NBA Current Players Only, or NHL Canes and Whalers Only.
First category.
All right, these are NFL players all named Dave or David. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me their jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need to get 4 for the win. Any last-second questions?
No.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. David Montgomery, Detroit Lions.
26.
Incorrect. David Bakhtiari, Green Bay Packers.
54.
Incorrect. David Montgomery, Detroit Lions.
Pass.
David Njoku, Cleveland Browns.
46.
Incorrect. David Bakhtiari, Green Bay Packers.
I don't know. 74.
Incorrect. David Montgomery, Detroit Lions. See, David Montgomery, I'm seeing this happen more and more. The running backs in the single digits, nobody gets. It's just hard to imagine. David Montgomery with the Lions wears number 5, which even saying it out loud doesn't feel right. David Bakhtiari with the Green Bay Packers, he thinks he's funny. He wears number 69. And David Njoku, Cleveland Browns, number 85. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had a good time playing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you as well. That means Casey in Wake Forest, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You get the tickets and the bragging rights that come with being a winner of the numbers game.
Love it. Third time. Go for number 4 in a month.
Third time winner. I like that. That might be the lead. Now, if you've won more than 3 times, let us know because I want to know if that's the record. You can tweet at me at Donnelly Sports. Sit on the line, though. Graham has some info he needs to get from you to make sure we can get you your tickets, but you're a 3-time winner. You know that deal.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yep, congrats. With that being said, in time for Father's Day this weekend, we want to help you recognize Dear Old Dad. Text DAD, D-A-D, to 919-860-5326. Click the link, nominate a deserving father figure. I was going to dominate a deserving. It gets confusing. Click the link and nominate a deserving father figure in your life to win a grilling prize pack that includes $50 to the Carolina Ale House and a gift card, grilling accessories, beer and wine, and local spices and sauces. So text DAD, D-A-D, to 919-860-5326. Click the link, nominate a deserving father figure in your life, win a grilling prize pack with everything I just mentioned. Dear Old Dad is served up by Carolina Ale House, where all dads get a free varsity burger this Father's Day. That was a solid numbers game. I'm not going to say it was the best in the world. I'm going to say it was solid. But obviously an 0 for always hurts in that second spot. I'm Tim Donnelly here. I want to tell you about what's going on with my partners over at Capital Financial Advisory Group. The reality of financial termites is that they erode your retirement savings. You work your entire life, your entire career building up a retirement savings. Do not let financial termites get in there and start getting their paws and pinchers on your cash. Do you really know how much you are paying in fees to whoever's handling your account? Do you really know the amount of commissions? Do you really know the amount of risk? Do you know everything that is coming out of your account with that money earmarked for your future in it? If your answer is, well, I think I know, but maybe not, call up Coach Pete. Coach Pete and Capital Financial Advisory Group can give you the second opinion you're looking for. They can give you the once-over. They can give you the 22-step behind-the-scenes process that identifies everything about your unique financial composition and can help you find the best way to navigate your journey along the way to and through retirement. Coach Pete and his team at Capital Financial develop a total and customized retirement plan so you can be secure and maintain confidence and control in your finances, not just to retirement, but all the way through retirement. And as I've said time and time again, call them up, make sure they know we sent you, and you'll get all of that plus the 7 Baby Steps box set for free. Just call 800-691-3215 and say you heard about it right here from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. Or, to keep it even more simple for you, just text my name, TIM, to 600-700. That's TIM to 600-700, and they'll know what you're looking for. That's all Coach Pete and Capital Financial Advisory Group, locally owned right here in the area. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, the U.S. Open, day number 1. What did you miss? We'll tell you next.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Dave Matthews Band Live, Friday, June 14th, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh.
He wakes up in the morning. Mama said, baby, don't you cry. In the dark, be the light. Don't let go, baby.
Dave Matthews Band. On sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series.
Triangle High School Hockey League update.
Hi, I'm Steven Smalley. I'm the president and founder of the Triangle High School Hockey League. High School Hockey League, we specify in the spring. We basically just give a chance for high school players to play in front of their schools. Everyone loves it. I mean, we get a lot of fans every game. Everyone just loves playing in front of their school.
The playoffs continue. In the combined semifinals, it's Cary versus Greater News tomorrow night at 8:45 at Invisalign Arena. Also Friday night at Invisalign Arena is Raleigh versus Chapel Hill at 9:15. Congrats to Zach Kodesh for winning the inaugural VKIS Award as the Combined Division MVP. He will receive it at the Combined Championship game Saturday. And congrats to Max Kuzik on winning the inaugural Pencola Award, which he will receive during the Pure Championship second intermission. All playoff games are free, but for capacity control, you do need to register for wristbands at trianglehshl.leagueapps.com.
Triangle High School Hockey League update brought to you by CK's Plumbing and Backflow, Wake County's first choice for residential and commercial plumbing services.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards wants to take the fun outside. Start with an endless pool, the original swim spa. Let us show you how to exercise and have swimming pool fun in one package. Turn your outdoor living space into an oasis of fun this summer with our outdoor gaming tables. From pool tables and shuffleboard to table tennis and foosball. Complete your backyard setup with a pellet grill from Memphis or Kamado Joe. Take advantage of closeouts and June incentives. Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh or Market Street in Wilmington. AtlanticSBNC.com.
Free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel, not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. We're close to crowning a champion in hockey. When I'm not calling playoff games around the country, the first thing I do when I'm back in the Triangle is head to Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, like half-price appetizers, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open from Pinehurst. Here is the current leaderboard from Pinehurst, presented by McConnell Golf. Leading the way, it's still going to be Patrick Cantlay. 5 under, he posted that in the morning rounds, and no one's really approached him yet. There's a couple guys on the course that are tied for third right now, and Rory McIlroy and Bryce DeChambeau that still have a handful of holes left to go. They're 3 under, so if they play the last 4 or 5 holes 2 under, they could get up there with Cantlay, but the course is fighting back a little bit. Cantlay's in first. Ludwig Aubert. If you pronounce the way his name looks, it'd be Ludwig Aberg. I think that's how a lot of people know him as. He's 4 under in second by himself, and then tied with Rory and Bryce DeChambeau in third is Matthew Pavon.
All that foliage and vegetation out there.
I think he got foliage right that time, but that time vegetation.
All that foliage and vegetation out there.
Foliage.
Foliage.
And oh, no.
Oh!
and vegetation. I'm
I
supposed.
wanted to end the show so strong.
Hey, we still got time. We'll come back to you before the end of the show. We'll come back to you. We'll make sure we at least give an opportunity. Tony Finau tied 6th. If you're looking for a Tiger update, it's going to be all the way back. He's tied for 102nd. So he had fallen as low as like 118. He finished in the morning, but with other guys moving back, it appears as if he's almost in the top 100 again. He's going to need a little bit of help to make the cut, but he's still in the mix, I'd say. U.S. Open updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast. That's McConnell Golf bringing you these updates. Foliage. Say it right now. Don't think. Just say it.
Foliage.
That is better.
Foliage.
We're getting somewhere.
And vegetation.
We're getting somewhere. We'll maybe by tomorrow. By
You
the
know
way,
what? We have about 8 minutes before our heart out. I'm just going to leave the studio for a little bit and just go into the bathroom and just say
I
it
think
over and over
that's the
again.
problem. You're thinking too hard. We it's like golf right now. If you're thinking too hard when playing golf, and you get the shanks or you get the slice or you get the hooks, what you need to do is turn your brain off. Right? You need to go full tin cup where he's like, take all the change out of your right pocket, put it in your left pocket, flip your visor upside down, put a T behind your right ear. Now swing.
I can feel us loosen up a little bit on the club each time we do it.
Exactly. Which, by the way,
Shoulders
yesterday,
straight.
I didn't get a chance to
Head
talk
down.
about this yesterday. Well, yesterday we did our show live from Pinehurst, so this goes in line with what we're talking about when it comes to the U.S. Open. Jordan Spieth's putter grip is unlike anything I've ever seen. His hands are like not overlapping, not kind of, but it's like a weird bear claw grip over the other one. And I don't know if I've ever noticed it before, but I was watching on the practice screen and I was like, goodness gracious, I don't even know if I could mimic that. So that's just a little insight from Pinehurst yesterday. Let's look at the U.S. Open. First of all, Rory and Bryson being tied for third. They're through 14 and 13 holes respectively in the first round. I hope they stay there, I mean, all tournament. And not saying stay exactly in third, saying stay in contention. A U.S. Open with an unbelievably difficult course, which, by the way, with I think there's 20 players under par. Let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, there's 20 players under par. With that many under par, I think the USGA is gonna toughen it up a bit. I think they aren't watering greens. I think they're going to make it even more difficult today because they don't want 20 under par. I think they want, maybe the leaders under par and everybody else to be falling back. So if you were out at Pinehurst today, first of all, what are you doing in your car? Get back out on the course and keep watching. But if you're going out to Pinehurst for later this week, I'd expect it to be more difficult than it was today because some guys were able to shoot some scores. They were able to make some shots, and I think the leaderboard is a little too low for what the USGA wants from a U.S. Open. With that being said, pleasantly surprised with the leaderboard at this point. Patrick Cantlay in first, love it. He is a player and this is no disrespect to some of the guys I'm about to mention, but if there was a F. Capin III, Frankie Capin III, who is currently tied for sixth. If he was the one out there in first, no one would even worry about chasing him. You would just assume that Frankie Capin, who I brought up his picture here, looks like a younger golfer. You would just assume that he is going to tumble back to the group at some point in time. Patrick Cantlay does not have that same assumption, right? He's one of the top 10 golfers in the world, and he's been to Ryder Cups, and he's played in big tournaments, and he's been out there with the Rorys and the Brooks and the Brysons, and you're going to have to go chase him. And I love a tough course where you have to chase. We talked about this yesterday, but during a practice round, Victor Hovland experimented with cutting the corner on a dogleg. So during a practice round, he was seeing, can I clear these trees and turn this 460-yard par 4 into a 330-yard par 4 by going up over these trees that were supposed to go around. He experimented with that. And our first reaction was, A, that's awesome, right? That's just cool. That's fun. That's like what we do in video games, looking for shortcuts. B, probably not something he does if he's in the running, right? It's something he does if he needs to make up ground, if he needs to have an advantage over 30 people ahead of him. Well, guess what? Victor Hovland is 6 over through 13. And with the leaders being some names that you don't expect to collapse, he may have to go for it. tomorrow on that fourth hole, or actually, he might be on it now. Nope, he actually just bogeyed the fourth. So maybe he did go for it. But if he's in trouble, might see some cool stuff. And I like that about having good guys, or at least more established guys, up at the top. You stop playing the waiting game for the leaders to come back, and you start playing the we have to go chase them game, which just makes for more entertaining golf. When it comes to Tiger, and if you listen to this show, you know I'm a Tiger guy. He's like the last remaining superstar athlete from my childhood that still is competitive. And competitive at this point in time might be a loose term, but I mean, he's still tees it up, right? He's still out there. It's not like the Peyton Mannings or the Kobe Bryants and anyone else like that I grew up with as a superstar are out there still even playing, even well below their traditional level. So Tiger's he's at +4. I am a golf nerd, so I know all about Data Golf. If you don't, it's a website. You can go find it yourself, datagolf.com, where it's all about the analytics of golf, and they have a constantly running cut line predictor. That just is what they think based on everything happening on the course. The number will be for the cut. Right now, the favorite for the cut is +4. So Tiger would have to play, if that ends up being the cut line, would have to play even tomorrow to make the cut. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? I would probably say no after watching what Tiger put on the course this morning. But you know what has cost people a lot of money? Betting against Tiger to do the unlikely. So I'm still holding out hope that he finds a way.
I said it was one of my concerns during Cons and Cons. Does Tiger Woods make the cut?
Again, Data Golf puts a individual percentage on each player to make the cut. Tiger Woods, they give a 13.4% chance. So that is not high, but in the words of Lloyd Christmas, which is Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber, so you're telling me there's a chance.
But if he can stay out of all that foliage and vegetation, he has a chance.
Nailed it.
Boom, baby, let's go.
Vegetation and foliage. See, you flipped up the order that time. You've been going foliage and vegetation. That time you went vegetation and foliage.
And I'm gone.
And I'm out. And I'm gone. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Graham Hill sitting in for Dennis Cox today. Had a personal battle against the word foliage today, and just landed a knockout blow with 20 seconds on the clock. Congratulations. We'll try again tomorrow because the U.S. Open's still going on tomorrow, and the vegetation and foliage will still be there.
More clutch than Luka Doncic last night.
You could just call it grass if you wanted to lower plants. Greenery. Can you say greenery?
Greenery.
All right, yeah. Now we're moving. We'll just make it a little bit. We'll change up the vocab. Don't forget you can listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open, presented by McConnell Golf. The U.S. Open updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast. We're nearing the end of The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, but don't worry, we have Overdrive coming up next. Earlier today, news broke while we were on air, Jalen Chatfield and the Canes agreeing to a 3-year, $3 million per year contract. We reacted to that, and we're going to start off Overdrive with it. So enjoy that. We also have an introduction to Matt Chazanow, who is the new voice of NC State. That'll be on Overdrive as well. Tomorrow we'll round out the week beginning at 3. Hopefully you'll all join us there. We'll have golf updates, hockey, and everything else. Until then, have a great night, everybody.